All right. I guess I'll go live because no one else is here. 7:05. We're waiting. Anyone in the comments? Do we have anyone in the comments? We got Nody Gang, T Edits. I don't know who that is, but hold on. Let me invite some people. Well, they already know the vibes. I sent them a link, so I'm just waiting for them to show up. Let's get it going in the chat, folks. Let's get some W's in the chat. How are we feeling tonight? Bucks, Celtics. Not watching the Sixers. Very happy about that. If you want to buy a Uniball shirt, you can. Link in the description. We also got the bucket and problem. We also got the Maxi Better, sadly. I'm very sad after last night. Very, very sad loss for the Sixers. Drinking Corona again. Waiting for everyone. I don't know where they are, but they will be here soon. W, yes. W for what? Oh, I already said let's get some W's going in the chat. All right, let me share this so I can get some people to come in. None of the people I invited are showing up, I guess. Let me send it to the DM. Hold on. All right. So, Bucks Celtics about to tip off. All right, we got Peter. What's up, Peter?
How
we feeling, brother?
Arms?
What's that?
Where is everyone?
We're waiting for Parm. We got Parm coming in. We got Jeff will come in later. We have Falk coming in later after that. We got a crew coming through, but they're all in different time zones. So, like Falk's on the West Coast. Maybe Austin. Oh, God, stop. Please, no mentions of that in the comments.
Well, so I was going to ask. I was gonna maybe.
Yeah, we know who it is, dude. You don't have to specify.
No. I was going to say, what are your thoughts on the NBA holding a game in the UAE?
When's that?
I think it's between the Bucks and the Hawks.
I didn't even know anything about that. That's interesting. That's I could probably say some things that would get me in trouble about that.
Yeah, it will be. Yep, it's going to be an.
There's a lot of immoral things that happen in the UAE, folks. Let's not go there.
No, I was going to say that there was a certain journalist who tweeted that this was a really good idea, and he promptly deleted it after.
Let's not talk. I'm not fucking around. So Celtics-Bucks has started. Al Horford is already ruining my life again. He hits a mid-range jumper to start the game, absolutely killing me. It is funny that the reason the Bucks, well, Drew hit a pull-up three, as I was about to say, felt like he was the reason they lost that game, and Horford was the reason that they won that game. Very much against my rooting interest, because obviously rooting for the Bucks, and then also the fact that Drew is a beloved former Sixer and Al is a hated former Sixer. Not good for the brand, certainly. But Drew's looking way better to start this one. He went, 5 for 21? The NBA games in the UAE, us gays keep losing. Jesus Christ, Ryan. Ryan, every week in the comments. It's a good one, though.
Have you talked enough about last night, or?
I'm just so... I'm still like, how do you come out that flat in such a big game? Like, in such a massive game, to just come out flat and be like, yeah, we're going to fucking suck lose by 35 points in basically not a must-win game, but pretty much a must-win game. Like, to win 2 in a row now, go back to Miami to win game 7, like, it's just going to be really tough. And I don't know. It's very disheartening. I do feel all of it comes down to just Joel not being Joel. And like the first 2 games he was back, Miami made a whole game plan to stop him, and it opened up things for everyone else. And then last night they kind of were like, all right, well, we'll see what a non-healthy Joel can do, and we'll see if we can kind of come up with ways to combat that. And they did. And he didn't get going until the third quarter when the game was over. So you're not going to win a lot of games when your MVP candidate plays poorly and then everyone else is missing their shots and you're not hustling. Like they lost everything on the margins. It just really fucking sucks.
You know, a lot of people have been talking about Joel's attitude. Do you think that is at all a valid criticism?
I mean, look, he's trying his best right now. He's obviously very hurt. I can't be too mad at Joel Embiid for this whole thing. The fact that we're even in the series is because he came back. So I can't really be, but I will say there is something to be said about the moping for sure. Absolutely. There's some validity to that. Like there were 2 games, and it's Harden and Embiid both wear their emotions on their sleeve, and you can see it on their face, and it affects everyone else. And because of that, you basically, you know, like I feel as though that vibe can really kind of throw the whole team off. And it felt like it did last night. But like at the same time, you're playing in Miami, you're on the road. Joel's hurt. What can you really do? You're not getting calls. Like, we're not going to win if we don't get calls. We're not going to win if shots aren't falling. We're not going to win if Joel isn't Joel. So you just got to kind of hope to burn the tape from that game and then come back. And it's just the strangest thing I've ever seen with this shooting stuff. Like, I've never seen a team go so one game shoot 47%, and then the next game, literally no one can hit a shot. And it's like, they've shot like less than 20% from 3 in the Miami games. It's like unbelievable how bad they are at shooting on the road. But yeah.
I've been told it's a make or miss league.
Well, that's the thing, is that last night I would have been fine if it was they lost the game because they missed a bunch of threes, but they lost the game because Miami was the better team. Like from the beginning, they played with more urgency. They were diving for loose balls. They were doing all of the bullshit griff stuff that they do. And they hustled and they did they did everything right. Jimmy's been the best player for 3 straight games now, 4 straight games. Like it really comes down to, like, if Jimmy's going to be the best player in this series, then the Heat have a really good chance to win because they have the better depth. They have the better 2 through 9 than the Sixers. It's the Sixers need to rely on their top end talent. And if their top end talent doesn't show up and they aren't the best, then they're fucked, you know? Yes, I'm aware of the MVP voting. It's fake news. We don't believe it. We don't believe it. Jokic. It wasn't close. We all knew it wasn't close so this Celtics-Bucks game is going to be really good once again. But, I mean, we knew the Jokic Embiid stuff was not going to be close. Like, we knew that Jokic overwhelmingly was going to win because we saw the votes leaked on Twitter like a month ago. That's why I didn't understand all the fake articles and tweets and people saying Embiid was going to win MVP. I was like, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. I also don't know why Giannis takes long pull-up 2s.
I don't know why Giannis takes long pull-up 2s or 3s in general. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's not part of his game, and he shouldn't do it.
I checked even since like the beginning of the playoffs last year, he's shooting like 20% from 3.
It's bad.
I realize like you can't always like just keep him out of the paint, but I would honestly just like dare this team to shoot 3s and just try not to let anyone get near the restricted area.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing with Giannis is like, we're in year 9 now of his career? 10? He's been in the league for a decade, and it seems like he is the best player in the league, best 2-way player in the league for sure. And he still still will shoot those pull-up threes. And like, if you haven't worked that out of your game yet, if you feel as though that's like your main counter to when teams stack the paint and build the wall and do whatever, like, I just don't get it at all. I feel like that's just a bad, like, the defense is going to take that every time. Like, he's shooting, I think they said the other day on the broadcast, he was shooting like 4 for 27 during this playoffs or something. Can you look up and see what Giannis is shooting from 3 in this playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Really bad last year, too.
Yeah. And, like, when the Sixers do it against Jimmy Butler in the Heat, and Jimmy's a better three-point shooter than Giannis, even though the numbers have been bad the last 2 years. But, like, I'm fine with giving him that shot because the alternative is he's eating in the paint or he's collapsing the defense or whatever he's doing, you know?
Yeah, so Giannis is shooting 12.5% in this series. He's
12.5. That's brutal.
He's shooting 4 of 29 thus far in
That's bad.
Playoffs combined.
Yeah, that's really, really bad. I don't understand it literally at all. It makes no sense to me. But, so hold on. Where is everyone?
I don't know. I don't see. Parm is online. I'll yell at Parm.
Yeah, yell at Parm. Tell him to come in. Hold on. Let's see. Well, yeah, I know Nihilus Bucks. Prayers up for Nihilus Bucks right now. But Danny Ainge taking Olynyk a spot before Giannis saved all our lives. It's true. Could you imagine if the Celtics got Giannis and then later still had the Nets picks and got Tatum and Brown? That would be, first off, the Celtics, I mean, it's easy to say this because the Celtics are still a very good team. Like, they could win the title this year. And they passed, if they nailed the 2013 draft, that draft, which, by the way, Olynyk was like a fine pick for where he went. Like, he's a fine player. Giannis obviously going right after him hurts, but like, no one could have seen this coming at all, basically. And then you have the fact that they had all those picks in 2019 and 2020, and they missed on all of them. They missed on Romeo Langford. They missed on Aaron Nesmith. Peyton Pritchard was a fine pick. But if they got like Maxey and Bane in that draft, which at the time, that's what people were saying they should have done, this Celtics team is even more unbeatable than they might seem at times.
I was like so into Romeo Langford. I remember watching him in high school. I was like, he's going to be so good.
Yeah, he was a high school mixtape guy. He was like a hooper. Like, everyone loved him. But then he had a bunch of injuries. He kind of had the Zaire Smith thing, where although as a prospect he was much more regarded coming out, but like he had the Zaire Smith thing of like he was hurt his first 2 years in the NBA, and that's it. Like, if you're a raw prospect, you're cooked by the time you're 22 if you just have no rep. Like, that's why I don't think people think that James Wiseman's just going to have like this bounce back career. And I'm like, I mean, he's barely played basketball for 3 years. Like, other than Joel Embiid, can you name a person who has had that kind of career? It doesn't really ever happen.
And he also just wasn't that good to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. We got Parmesan. How you doing, brother?
Howdy.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Not much. We were just talking about Romeo Langford high school footage, which is,
when he was the Indiana Player of the Year?
Yeah, because we were just talking about the Celtics and how unbeatable they would be if they nailed the 2019 and 2020 draft and didn't just blow all their picks, except for Grant Williams, who's turned out to be pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good for where he went. But like, think about like the Romeo Langford pick, Aaron Nesmith, like those picks, if they nailed those picks, or even the drafting Bane and just trading them away for 2 second-round picks from the Grizzlies, like if they had just kept Bane, even if they got like, I mean, they're already very good, but like if they had a shooter like Bane and then they had Maxey and then whoever, the rumor was they wanted to move up and get Tyler Hero. But
really?
That seems that lines up with the fact that they drafted Peyton Pritchard as well.
The next year.
I feel like if they got Hero at the right time, Peyton Pritchard would be back home where he belongs in the Portland Trailblazers.
You mean he would have been in the Portland what are those games he plays in and he gets like 150 points? Those like scrimmage games, those pro-ams.
Oh yeah. Because isn't he from there? Isn't he from Oregon?
Yeah, he's from. That's how Danny knew about him because Danny's from Portland, Oregon, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and now he lives in Utah with his people, the Mormons. They were there celebrating the political news that happened last week. All that stuff.
Speaking of Boston Celtics, can we touch on Doc Rivers?
Wait, what's that?
Can we touch on Doc Rivers? Speaking of the Celtics,
yes, we can. But hold on, before you go, Giannis just missed another pull-up three, by the way.
So now he's like 4 of 30.
4 of 30 in the playoffs, and he's still shooting them. It's unbelievable. Anyway, Doc Rivers, our boy.
So yeah, I was looking up every single coach that's ever coached the LA Clippers.
To make yourself feel better. This was your coping.
To make myself feel better, just to look, to be like, because someone said something like he's the best, or I think I did, but like he's the best coach in Clippers history. What I found out was very interesting. Yeah, when he left.
Yeah. Okay.
But what I found that I thought was like really interesting was that the guy before Vinny Del Negro.
Yeah.
He only coached for 5 seasons, and he's a 100 as a coach for his career.
Who was it?
As soon as Vinny Del Negro.
Oh, before? Okay, so
I thought before Doc. Okay. Like, so Chris Paul like edged him out. He got him fired because he thought he was a douche.
The coach of the year that year too?
Yeah. Gets fired because Chris Paul thinks he's an asshole, and so does Blake Griffin. But he's a successful coach. Like, he's above 500. He'd only coached for 5 years. He still has never gotten another NBA job ever again, even as an assistant, as far as I have looked, which is just crazy.
That is kind of insane.
Like, imagine being that good at your job and then not getting another gig for 10 years after being career 500 over your first 5 seasons.
Yeah. Well, problematic last name. You should have known better. Maybe that's why. Maybe the NBA was like, we can't hire this guy. Our commentators can't even say his name. It's not a good look, But I do think it's weird. That he was the coach of the year. His first year, Vinny, last name I won't say. He was
It's not a crime. It's not a crime. He's an Italian.
Well, I mean, is it a crime? I don't know. I'll leave that. His
dad also, I found this out. His dad played with Pat Riley.
His dad played with Pat Riley. Really?
His dad played with Pat Riley on the Kentucky team that was segregated. Like when Kentucky, yeah, because Adolph Rupp, the coach at Kentucky, would only
Excuse me, what was his name again?
Yeah, no, his name is Adolf, and he's
racist. I know.
But yeah, he was like he had his segregated basketball team. So Vinny Del Negro's father and Pat Riley were were 2 players on the team that I think lost to West Texas, turned into something else.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I didn't follow any of that. I was tweeting that we were live. But, so, how long ago was Pat Riley in college? The 60s?
Yeah, it was like yeah. Hold on. Let me look this up.
Well, I mean, he had to be. I know that he was in the NBA in the 70s. Because if it was segregated, that would have been, obviously, during the pre-68.
Yeah, it was in the 1960s. Let me look.
Yeah. Jesus, anti-Italian discrimination. Okay, I just want to answer this question real quick. Do Maxey and Bane develop on this team though, where they get way less minutes? Yes, that's a fake thing. I'm not saying that players getting less minutes is good for development, but if Aaron Nesmith isn't developed because he hasn't gotten minutes. Aaron Nesmith isn't developed because he sucks. He was never a good prospect. And the idea that he was wrong. And I feel as though it's not positive for guys like development when they don't get a ton of minutes. But at the same time, Maxey and Bane would have forced their way into the rotation because they're that good, and they would have been able to develop and be good players because they can function without the ball as well. But anyway, keep going.
Oh, by the way, it's UTEP. That's the school that beat them. Okay,
so I don't even know. I don't even remember this conversation. So UTEP beat Kentucky. So Kentucky was segregated the team.
Yeah, the team was all white guys, and then UTEP was like almost entirely African American players, and they beat them.
Was there a movie about this?
Glory Road, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, this sounds extremely familiar. Yeah.
Well, so Pat Riley is the villain in Glory Road.
Pat Riley's currently my villain right now, so it holds up in my mind. He's the HGH culture guy. By the way, Bucks up early, 1914. I just want to say, I don't know if you guys followed this on Twitter the other night, but Mike Chiodo, who shout out to Mike, we love Mike, but he was getting a little. This is, by the way,
like he's down in the fucking dumps. He needs to take a fucking breather, dude.
I know he's very much in panic mode. Although he said he might be back in. Hey, what's up, Ty? Ty, I invited you to the stream like 2 weeks ago, and you never DM'd me back. So if you want to come on, let me know.
Wow.
So, Mike is doomer right now. Chiodo's very doomer. But I just want to say he did see that Thibault was out, and he said, we're back. We're potentially out. He's questionable for tomorrow. But going back to Chiodo he was kind of getting a little frisky on the timeline. This is why you have to wait until after games. I wait until after series to slander people because then you can't ever get cold taked. In the middle of the game when Tatum was playing like shit, he tweeted and said they called Tatum a top 5 player. And then Tatum was playing like shit and then fucking destroyed in the fourth quarter. The Celtics come back and win. Wasn't he, by the way, Giannis and Tatum were not the best player in that game. Al Horford was, which is hysterical.
Yeah, bad for my narrative, dude.
Horrible.
Really bad for my Al Horford washed narrative.
Yeah, horrible.
I just,
Ty was going crazy. Ty was like, look at Horford go. And he was just like, Parm in the mud.
Constant.
Oh my God, horrible. And then Tobias shit in the bed last night. Not good. Elton Brand was looking like a genius for like a week and a half there. Until the Horford game, it was like Elton Brand 2019, 2020 offseason goated. Although Jimmy Butler being arguably the best player in the playoffs so far, not great for any narrative right now. I mean, look, I've always hated Jimmy. I know Jimmy's very good. And if you go back and you watch the first episode of NBA is Drunk, me and Sam Sheehan were on here talking about how he's overrated. And now he's just absolutely destroying the Sixers. And I do feel at least partially responsible for that.
He is overrated, though. He's just good in the playoffs. That's the thing. He's just good in the playoffs. The rest of the year, he is washed. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, you see the arthritis come in. But then he also plays 30 games a year to save himself.
But that's why I was saying
LeBron move, but being washed instead of LeBron doing LeBron shit and then also not playing. He just doesn't even try during the regular season.
So
still lull everyone into a sense that he's washed before he decides to be good at basketball again.
Well, he fucking sucked last year.
Yeah.
Who, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Well, in the playoffs, but also playing against the Bucks, small sample, 4 games. He couldn't shoot. Maybe he was injured. I don't know. I tend to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, I've been a Jimmy hater, but I recognize the fact that he's also very good. But by the way, the Bucks without Giannis on the court, probably worse than the 18-19 or any version of the Sixers before this year without Embiid on the court. And right now they're making me look stupid. But when Giannis goes to the bench, the Celtics are destroying the Bucks in this series. Like,
they
it's
don't
just
have Chris.
Yeah, true. They don't have Chris. That's a good point.
Yeah, but
not
then,
having your second best player hurts a little bit.
Who's putting all the buckets in? Grayson Allen when he's
exactly.
out. You know.
Yeah,
I guess they have Bobby Portis, who, speaking of slander, I said John Collins was Diet Bobby Portis the other day. And I still kind of believe that's true.
Well, so it begs the question, is John Collins a dog?
No.
Okay, so John Collins is not a dog, and he's definitely not a hooper because he has no bag.
Yeah.
So he's neither a dog nor a hooper.
Yeah,
is he just a basketball player?
He's you know how when App Store was really popping off, right? Like 10 years ago.
What was?
And then the App Store.
Okay,
like
I thought you said Astro. I thought you were talking about Astro
Angry
World.
Birds Lite for free, but then to get regular Angry Birds, you had to pay $1.99. John Collins is Aaron Gordon, but you pay $1.99. He is the premium version of Aaron Gordon.
Because he can shoot a little bit.
Kind of shoot. He's good at dunking. He doesn't really do anything else.
That's actually a fair point. I mean, honestly, before this playoffs, if you had told me that, Tobias obviously did not play well last night, but no one did. If you had told me that Tobias would look way better than John Collins in the playoffs, I would have been surprised, because I feel as though John Collins, although the thing with John Collins is kind of similar to a lot of guys on these teams that are deep. So like Miami, Atlanta last year, they have like 7-8 man rotations where they can afford to disappear for like 3 or 4 games and you don't even notice. And John Collins will score 4 points and like not really have that much of an impact on the game at all. And then he'll score 25 in the next game. And you're like the Sixers just don't have a team like that. Like the Sixers, all of their guys, when they score and when they have a major impact on the game, it's very obvious because they only have like 6 NBA players. Seems like a problematic thing. I don't know.
Well,
Giannis, come on.
That's
dude.
been the issue for what now? That I feel like we're going on the 4th year consecutively now of like, hey, the Sixers have no depth.
Yep.
We're a depthless franchise relying on stars, and every single year that seems to be the problem.
And it does feel weird to me that Morey, his team building strategy hasn't even been horrible since he got here. It's just that when you consider who the coach is, it's been horrible. Mm-hmm. Like any normal coach would be like, oh, Charles Bassey and Paul Reed can kind of play. Isaiah Joe, he might have a little bit of something, but Doc's like, nope. Mike
D'Antoni might give Jaden Springer minutes. Doc Rivers, I'll see you in 5 years, kid.
Yeah, actually,
Jaden Springer. He's like, Jaden Springer, come back when you can rent a car, dude. Thank you.
No, someone actually said this on a top secret website last night. They were like, if you look at the perspective of team building in that Morey was building through the draft, it might have worked. The problem is that you're expecting Doc to actually use these players, and he just doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even looking at the Celtics right now, like, I think that the majority of their guys, Celtics and Bucks, majority of their guys in their rotation are veteran players. They're not first, second year guys. It's rare that first and second year guys even crack playoff rotations, but they also have reliable veterans, generally speaking. Like they have Derek White coming off the bench, or Daniel Tice coming off the bench, or they have Pat Connaughton. They have guys who are just like regular rotation players that even like this version of George Hill, like not watch version of George Hill we had last year. So once again, it's fine to not play young players. Like Peyton Pritchard's probably the only guy in his first 2 seasons that's in either rotation right now. But that's fine if your options are good, not if your options are Matisse Thybulle, who literally is afraid to touch a basketball in a playoff game. Like that is or DeAndre Jordan, who like hasn't been good since Obama's first term. Like really, like what are we doing here? Like that's kind of like my whole thing with the team building strategy is like, I think it's actually a perfectly fine team building strategy to just take a bunch of hits on guys in the late first, early second and see if you can get cheap rotation players and guys who could maybe contribute and have some upside and whatever. But if you know that Doc is your coach, and if we get stuck with Doc after this year is the question, because like, I personally think that he's going to take the Lakers job if he's offered it, but that's our saving grace if we get bounced. And like, by the way, I'm not even that mad at Doc right now. Like, I think that like them coming out flat last night sucks. And like the way that he handled the DeAndre Jordan situation sucked. And the way that he continues to play Thibault, even though he's unplayable in the playoffs.
Yep.
That all sucks. But at the same time, I don't think all of this can be blamed on Doc solely. And I think that just getting a younger coach, like I like Mike D'Antoni, but I almost think you just want like a younger, like more like.
Yeah, because how old's Mike D'Antoni? 77?
He's old as shit. He's like 70.
He's like really, like
70.
He looks fantastic, but he's like a lot older than you'd think he is.
He's got the Italian genes. I mean, the Italians, they age wonderfully, you know. He does. Italians, you know, they eat a lot of oil and stuff. You know?
A lot of fish.
A lot of fish.
A lot of omega-3s.
I just hate it when like people do, because this happens like in every single sport everywhere, is they think, oh, this guy was good once upon a time, so even though he's been fit for like the past 5 years, let's just make him head coach and maybe it'll be the old him, but it like
Are you talking about NBA?
Yeah, or just, you know, like it happens in the Premier League. They're like, oh, this is like a Premier, you know, this guy was like a Premier League, you know, manager, so he can.
But the difference is that MDA has been an assistant coach on teams the last 2 years that have been very good. And like he was a big part of the Nets' success with their offense.
Yeah, also assistant coach on the Nets. Yeah, right. Assistant coach. Yeah, what's fucking Steve Nash doing? Getting his shit kicked in because he can't coach because he's a fraud.
No, like I mean, I think I still
play soccer, dude.
MDA is like still definitely better than Doc. I get kind of tired of like just doing these like retreads.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference is that the retread thing, I'm fine with retreads as long as they have a proven track record of being like MDA has gotten to conference finals. He's not the greatest playoff coach, but like he's a very good regular season coach. And if we can have some sort of normal semblance of a rotation, maybe gunning for the 1 seed is our best chance, having a little bit of a deeper team, having a good offensive system that knows how to use Tyrese Maxey and James Harden and Joel Embiid in a way that Mike D'Antoni would be able to do. Because keep in mind, last time we were looking for coaches, Embiid wanted Mike D'Antoni, if I remember correctly, and he got and Ben wanted Ty Lue, and the compromise was Doc Rivers. So it is funny. We want one of the best, the most innovative coaches of all time in Mike D'Antoni, and one of the best tacticians and a recent champion in Ty Lue. So our compromise is to get the worst playoff coach of the last decade.
I just can't believe Ben Simmons was actually right one time.
No, he wanted him because it was clutch.
I know, but still.
I mean,
bro,
gotta give him credit.
What if I told you about a certain retread? A certain retread who might have maybe led a young Paul Pierce to a surprising yet ultimately disappointing 2 seasons in Boston before heading back to the college ranks where he became a champion once again.
Richard?
Before being besmirched, having his reputation tarnished, and being forced to coach in Greece for a year before he is, dragged back into the limelight in the MAC.
I mean, look, I'm all for Pitino to the Sixers. I'm with it. I think it would be an incredibly funny bit to get the guy that coached the Celtics before Doc. Like we went back even further. And damn, speaking of Celtics, Jason Tatum can't miss right now. Top 5 player, Jason Tatum.
Okay,
what's that?
I said, okay, Bill Simmons.
I mean, I don't think that Tatum's a top 5 player right now, but if the Celtics win the finals and he's cooking the way that he is right now, does everyone look back at the season and go, "Oh yeah, he was obviously a top 5 player"?
Yeah, because he's
he's 24.
He's
like
Boston media mafia. They'll just tell you that they'll just keep. They'll do a 30 for 30 on it, like all about how everyone doubted them. Everyone said all 3 of the stars hated each other.
Everyone doubted top three pick Jason Tatum. No, that is one of my favorite things. Is that while, by the way, I'm not saying that Danny Ainge didn't get criticism when he took Tatum and Brown, but like it is funny that people act like they were like late first round picks that he took in the top 3. They're like, oh, no one. And then I'm like, they were still like projected to go top 5. He just took them like 2 spots higher than everyone thought he was going to take him.
Tatum's not even. I thought Tatum was that draft was. Was Markelle the consensus 1-1?
Yes, by far.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. He was 1A. He was like in a tier by himself. But to be fair, based on their college season, Markelle Fultz was significantly better than Jason Tatum in college. It was Tatum was more of a project. What's that?
He's also playing in the Pac-12 though.
For sure. Talent is for sure. But the thing with Tatum was like, what are you talking about?
What the fuck is Giannis doing?
What did he just
literally just taking long pull-up 2s?
Yeah.
I really can't imagine like Bud has to, I realize like Bud is Bud and whatever, and they're just he's gonna see out his contract, but this is like just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, we're living in the Giannis era, I was told. So that's what people told me on Twitter. We were living in the Giannis era because he beat the Sixers by 1 point. I was like, okay.
Imagine being Gregory Smith right now.
Prayers up for our guy,
watching Giannis to pull up mid-range jumpers.
Yeah, that's brutal. Absolutely brutal, bruv. Wait, what's going on here?
Football's well, King.
Did they take a timeout? All right, so Celtics are up 5. The Celtics are going to win the finals. This sucks. I mean, who do you think can beat the Celtics if they win this series?
Sixers, baby.
Yeah, you'd have to hope for
Sixers
the Warriors or...
You think the Sixers can beat the Celtics?
Absolutely right. I don't know why too.
You're dropping
because
out.
Unlike
You're
the
probably
if they can get out of Miami, right? Everyone's saying what was the problem with Joel? More specifically than just the fact that he is a broken husk of a man. Everyone was saying that it bothered him the altitude of the plane, right? Going up with a broken orbital in a plane. You know what Boston and Philadelphia have linking them?
Trains,
the fastest, most reliable high-speed rail infrastructure in the entire United States. He'd never have to get off the ground.
Northeast Corridor.
Northeast Reach, baby. Taking the Excella up to Boston.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Sixers advance. Sixers advance past the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics and the Sixers play.
Yeah.
The Sixers win in the train series, the Amtrak series, and then we get high-speed infrastructure around America. We use it as a proof of concept that everywhere should be connected by train. We aren't as reliant on fossil fuels anymore.
I'm all for it.
We end global warming.
Zach Lowe is pro my plan. You know?
Zach
Lowe's for it.
Zach Lowe's hearing this and he's like, they know
ball. This is brilliant analysis.
They know ball, and they also know how to save us from the impending apocalypse.
Yeah, I know my incoming climate catastrophes. You know,
the train series. Call it the Royce White series.
Oh, dude, that's so funny to me that he's running for Congress. And
it is very funny, but I want to say we can't call anything with Boston the White series because then they will win.
Oh my god.
That's outrageous, though, that he's running for Congress. Like, that's like one of the most crazy things I've ever heard of in my entire life.
It's also funny because it's like he was like a Black Lives Matter guy, and then he just became a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very odd.
Now, the funniest thing ever is when he tweets something like fascist or like anti-Muslim or anything, like something crazy, some shitty tweet. And then people just tweet pictures of planes in him. Which, like, if you're afraid of flying and you have a legit anxiety disorder, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Royce White because he's a piece of shit.
Oh my god.
Also, like, I'm sure a lot of other people who have this disorder would just take, oh, is he really on Jason? Of course he's on fucking Jason Whitlock's show, dude. Of course he is. Two dudes who look like chicken McNuggets on the same show.
Oh my god. Chicken McNugget.
By the way, you know who drafted Royce White?
Didn't the Timberwolves draft him?
I believe Daryl Morey drafted Royce White.
Really?
I believe Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets did, and I believe he was cut and signed with the Philadelphia 76ers by Sam Hinkie.
You would be correct. He went to college at the University of Minnesota, then got kicked off for theft.
That's right.
And assault, and then went to Iowa State. Okay.
Well, I wonder if Morey and Royce White just bonded over some political opinion. Just kidding. Morey's a little woke. Like, kind of woke. Royce White used to be woke. I don't know what happened. I guess that wasn't paying, so he was like, oh, I gotta be now.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta get supported by Steve Bannon.
Yeah, I forgot he also did had a stint Ultimate Fighting where he just got his ass kicked and then quit. I forgot about that. I forgot.
I'm afraid of flying, but also I'm going to get paid to get my skull bashed in by these large men. Yeah, cool. Your priorities are in line, Royce White.
Do you know if he fought a real guy or did he fight like Jose Canseco or like Sammy Sosa or something like some washed baseball player in 2002?
The Paul brothers who were like, I will only fight guys who are 75 pounds lighter than me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a brilliant strategy because it's like, oh my god, they beat one of the best boxers like from like 10 years ago, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean they're much larger than them. This is why they don't fight across weight classes. Royce White and Enes Freedom at the next Q&A.
Oh, can we talk about Enes Kanter's ear?
Wait, hold on. Okay, we can talk about Enes Freedom's ear in a second, but what is this Giannis slam ball conversation?
Oh, we were doing who would be the best, slam ball, the trampoline basketball.
I love slam ball when I was like
so we were talking about who would be the GOAT of slam ball out of all the NBA players. And like Giannis for a sweet 20 minutes before both his knees just evaporate. That would be the most delightful scene of all time.
Ja Morant, Zion, Giannis.
My argument, Boban. Boban would be extremely valuable because he never has to go on the trampoline.
True.
He could just stand on both sides and just put his hands up, and he'd be goated.
He'd be
no
Rudy
one's
Gobert.
Shooting the ball in slam ball. Everyone takes to the rack. That's how you get all the points.
True. You can't expose how weak Boban is in space defensively when you're on trampolines.
Yeah.
I mean, how did no one think of this before?
It's kind of brilliant. Boban should sign a lifetime contract with slam ball. We should bring slam ball back. I don't know why it's not a thing.
That's another thing. They did bring it back. Xi Jinping has a collegiate slam ball league in China.
I forgot you told us this before. I think on the first stream, maybe.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Like, I want to know how. Like, their NCAA has slam ball in it.
So, Their
They have
NCAA has slam ball?
I don't know what we're doing.
That's actually brilliant. College slam ball?
They have college slam ball you can get from Beijing to Shanghai in 35 minutes on a train. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I mean,
what's happening here?
President G, if you're watching, please liberate us.
Yeah,
from Elon Musk.
I'll hand you Enes Kanter myself just to get collegiate slam ball. I'll hand him over. I'll hand him over in a body bag just for collegiate slam ball, dude.
Does that need a parody satire?
Yes, of course. This is a joke. This is all.
Yeah, there's also zero chance that I could get close enough to Enes Kanter to not be murdered by his CIA handler.
Yeah, it's true. He's literally He took a picture with the head of the CIA, and he's like, "Here's my close friend. Don't fuck with me. By the way, he will literally overthrow your entire country if you fuck with me."
Yeah, but I think he got the Elon Musk brain chip or something. He posted a picture on Twitter like big things soon, and he had like stitches going up all the way on the back of his ear, which is where they put the Elon Musk like Neuralink brain chip thing. So I think we might have a cybernetic Enes Kanter in the league now.
Oh my God.
Keep your eyes on this channel. Keep your eyes tuned, folks. Hit that like and subscribe. I just got a chip in my brain.
Oh,
this is the futures that liberals want. I just want to say, going back to slam ball, I always worried when I would watch slam ball that someone was going to get their leg caught in the basket.
Yep.
Like, oh, I jumped to and then you just like snap your leg. Like it could be could be like that show Scarred, but every like literally maybe have to have someone's Alex Smith amputated.
Oh yeah. That being said, though, you do watch the NFL, and the NFL every single season, I'm like, this is the year I'm gonna watch someone die on TV.
Yeah, I know it's true.
Like they had that guy on the Chargers. I thought he straight up died this year.
Who is that?
It was like a wideout for the Chargers. Just got like absolutely demolished in the end zone, and like was just out cold, like arms out. Cooked.
Jeez. And
they were like they like were real serious about it. Like he apparently like didn't speak to anyone for 3 days.
It does make me feel bad. It's unfortunate it's the only other sport other than basketball that I like.
Yeah. They should just pay them the way that guys who fight dudes get paid. Like if Jalen Hurts got paid the same amount of money as Floyd Mayweather, I'd feel a little better about it.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. Yeah. They should be getting that Jim Rome
money.
Yeah, not Jim Ross.
That's so sick. I want to know how that's possible. I haven't seen Jim Rome not as like a random guest on a podcast in about 12 years. How is he getting $30 million a year?
He makes $30 million a year. It literally hurts my brain. By the way, the Celtics are up 9. The Bucks look like absolute shit without Giannis on the court again. They had to bring him back in. They had to put Drew on the bench. They're getting the worst shots I've ever seen in the half court. Every possession. Boston's defense has kind of figured them out. It's not looking good. I had a feeling like Boston survived the last game. Yeah. Boston's going to win the finals. Although last time I thought Boston was going to win the finals was in the bubble. And then they lost because Tyler Hero turned into Steph Curry for 2 games. So
Al Horford showing tonight that he is less washed than other senior citizen centers that he has to guard.
I mean, it's very unfortunate, I would say.
Feel bad for Brook Lopez. He's cooked.
He's cooked. He's been really good in this series, like defensively.
Yeah, I just don't think that he's like sustainable like anymore. They have to get somebody else that can care that like he gets so like he just every game I watch, it's like he's very good for a couple minutes early on, and then you can just visibly see the fatigue. It's not to a degree of like DeAndre Jordan, where it's like he's like 1 minute in, and it's just like, please, like let this man.
He's
give this
older
man oxygen.
than DeAndre Jordan. He's old. He's older than DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre's just washed completely though. He's like completely cooked.
Well, yeah, because
Brooke,
DeAndre
I think, has another like year or two of like limited minutes.
Yeah. All right. Let's look up Brooke Lopez. How old do you think Brooke Lopez is?
36.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
He's 34.
Yeah. Okay.
But he just turned 34 like a month ago. And Drew Holiday gets turned over. The Celtics are destroying them right now, by the way. They're up 51-38 with 3:40 left in the first half. Chiodo, why did you have to tweet that about Tatum?
He's the 2008 draft.
This is Mike Chiodo's fault. Brooke Lopez was 2008 draft?
Yeah, Brooke Lopez was picked the same draft as Russ and OJ Mayo. I didn't know that. I thought he was a year or two before.
That was a weird draft. Very weird draft. 2008 was like Rose, Love, Russ.
Michael Beasley, the god.
Yeah, Michael Beasley went number 2 overall. Rose
Gallinari.
Was number 1. What was
this? Is
was
a good draft.
3?
This is a lot of good players.
Westbrook was 3.
Westbrook 3, or Westbrook 4. OJ Mayo's 3.
Oh, wow.
The GOAT.
Kevin
OJ
Love
Mayo.
went.
Bring him back.
Where did he go? 5 or 6? Kevin Love.
Kevin Love went 5. Gallo 6. Eric Gordon. Milwaukee Bucks legend Joe Alexander.
Wow. Horrible
I have
pick.
never heard of this man.
Yeah, he was like out of the league pretty fast.
Yeah, he's played in the Israeli league for the last like 15 years.
There you go. So he might have a comeback. You got to go to Israel.
Most Spites in this draft.
What's that? Most Spates
in the draft.
Yeah.
Sixers legend. They was drafted by the Sixers that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 08
they drafted
was
him instead of Roy Hibbert, JaVale, Ryan Anderson, and Serge Ibaka.
That's pretty brutal.
And DeAndre Jordan, who was drafted at the end of that draft.
A few of those guys didn't. No one knew that they were going to be good. I don't think DeAndre Jordan was. He was like a second round pick. So 08 was the year that we botched the draft. 07 we got Thad Young. 09 we got Drew Holiday. And then 2010 we got Evan Turner with the second pick. Oh, not good. But the other years, where we got Drew and Thad were like fantastic value picks. Iggy in 04, 05? Was Iggy 04 or 05? I can't remember. But he was another fantastic. Like the Sixers drafted really well for a team that never got high picks until the Evan Turner pick when they got the second pick and then they fucking blew it.
Oh, this is another. Speaking of the draft, and also because I see Ty on there, just blew my mind with this. Oh, I'm very pro the Juancho. I'm very pro the Juancho Sandler movie. I'm also pro having Juan Hernangomez on the Sixers because he'd probably be our best forward.
He's a free agent after the season, dude. Juancho season. I mean, he was in a movie with the Sixers already. We get Juancho. And then we recruit Anthony Edwards and we recreate the movie in Philadelphia. Adam Sandler is coach.
How bad do you think that would go?
Adam Sandler is coach?
How bad do you think that would go? Do you think there's a way that you could put assistant coaches around him who know enough basketball that Adam Sandler could not be horrible?
100%. I mean,
not win a title, but just make the playoffs.
Yeah, you could give them Dan Burke and Sam Cassell and Dave.
Give him Doc Stab.
That's as good as you could possibly do with assistant coaches.
Do the Sixers win the Hawks series with Adam Sandler as coach?
As the coach. Here's the thing. I think Adam Sandler benches Ben Simmons, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does he have the balls to stand up to his co-star Matisse Thybulle though, who's in the movie with Maxey and Tobias? And
here's another problem, as well with that statement. I said he would bench Ben Simmons, but he's never fucking benched Rob Schneider in 30 years, and he keeps fucking putting him on the team. I don't know why. So maybe they lose. I don't know.
He was boys with Rob Schneider. He even kept putting Rob Schneider even through the anti-vax stuff. Rob Schneider was getting canceled for being anti-vax before it was cool back in like 2013.
True.
People forget that Rob Schneider was a literal problem.
Yeah, because wasn't that him and Jim Carrey were the big anti-vax guys?
Yep. Yeah. But Jim Carrey at least like did a bunch of psychedelics and broke his brain. Like, I respect that a little bit more when you just like do a ton of drugs and then your brain's like, don't get vaccinated. But when you're like, I'm a right-wing weird guy, I don't respect that. What's that?
Schneider's doing the strongest drug there is.
Who's that?
The sweet release of watching Grown Ups 2 in theaters.
Rob Schneider was a conundrum, a quandary, everything. We have a wedgie in the Bucks game, by the way.
God, what the fuck?
Alex said literally Adam Sandler can't be worse than Steve Nash right before me. That's right. Also, we got Rob Schneider is a conundrum. Hold on. We have Ken confirm the Celtics are good. Yes, Luke, I agree. It makes me very sad. Very, very sad. Buy a shirt to make me feel better. So, by the way, I have a big announcement on the next podcast that I'm recording with a special guest tomorrow after the Sixers game. Hopefully it's a win. So I just want to say Bucks look like shit. Mm-hmm. Marcus Smart hit a pull-up 3, which at that point, if Marcus Smart's hitting pull-up 3s, it just feels like you're not going to win that game or this series if Marcus Smart is hitting pull-up 3s. Just a gut feeling here.
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean, we've watched Jimmy Butler hit a few, and I'm like, that's not a good sign. If Jimmy Butler, the worst three-point shooter in the NBA this season, is shooting pull-up 3s, probably not going to go well for you.
But I mean, Marcus Smart takes a lot of pull-up 3s, though, because he just
not as much as he used to. He's cut down on them a lot. He's gotten better with his shot selection, which is like, okay, so people have been shitting on Dylan Brooks, who, by the way, is a dog. Mm-hmm. I know that like people like hate Dylan Brooks because of what he did to Gary Payton and like everything that's happened over the past few weeks, and like he's kind of annoying. And someone, I can't remember who said it, but he looks like the kid in your class growing up that like smelled, and like he he also dresses like a character from the movie Blade in the 90s with Wesley Snipes.
This is true. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's a day walker.
Yeah.
But if Dylan Brooks was the starting small forward for the Philadelphia 76ers, we're walking down broad.
Yeah, because we'd have we'd have Mario and Wario versions of Danny Green.
Danny Green is Mario.
Like they're more of a Luigi Waluigi type deal. I don't think.
No, I like the Mario Wario. I like that comparison. I like Dylan Brooks' Wario version of Danny
Waluigi
Green.
Is Landry Shamet.
Oh, that's true.
The Landroid.
Sorry, say that again.
The Landroid? That's my nickname for Landry Shamet.
Landry Shamet, Waluigi? Yeah, he does look like Waluigi. It's kind of crazy. It's actually, by the way, Giannis going on a little run here to end the half. The Bucks have life. He's cooking Horford in space. Wow, that was actually a very.
Mullen die?
What?
Oh! This meant the game. I thought Ruthie 2X was confirming that Jackie McMullen has died. And I was like, yeah, that's
like. I literally stopped in my tracks and I was like, Jackie McMullen died? What are you
read
What are you talking about?
Evan, and I was like, "Oh, did she die? Did she die today?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, nope. Just
Jesus Christ, no, she's still alive and well.
My
Shout
apologies.
out to Jackie Bag,
My apologies.
our favorite problematic Boston white lady. Dude, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Okay, so Tatum is, so he just missed another three, dude. He's missed. I feel like Tatum has missed every shot he's taken, and the Celtics are up 7. What is Tatum's stat line right now? Can someone pull up and tell me what Tatum's stat line is about to be halftime? It feels like he's missed at least 10 shots.
He is 5 of 16, including 2 of 10 from 3.
And he took 10 3-pointers in the first half.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the Celtics just scored right before halftime to put did that not count? I think he got it off, Derek White. It's only a 7-point game.
But like,
what did I say?
But like, why doesn't Brook Lopez shoot anymore? I feel like that was so much of like what made the Bucks work, because he was like an actual like 3-and-D center.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Why doesn't he shoot?
Because for this game, this was his 4th 3, and he's missed every single one.
Wow. All right, hold on. Yeah, Derek White definitely got that off. Oh my God, literally the nick of time. But yeah, so the Celtics are up 9 at halftime. I was told Tatum is a top 5 player. I mean, we need to wait until this game is over, because if you say he's not a top 5 player, he's going to score 35 points in the second half. No, he did not get that off. If you go super slow-mo, the ball was still on his finger. Are they reviewing that? No basket. Okay, so they're up 7 at half. The Celtics are going to win this game by 25 points. 100% chance. Unless Giannis plays the entire second half, which is totally possible. But I feel as though...
I feel like...
How many minutes has he sat tonight?
Giannis?
Because I started watching when I got on it. I wasn't on for 15 minutes. I don't know, because isn't Giannis only allowed to play 28 minutes a game? Isn't it illegal? Doesn't someone come to Mike Budenholzer's house and break his kneecaps if he dares to play Giannis more than 34 minutes a game?
No, I do like that. What made Mike Budenholzer go from a fraud, terrible coach to championship level genius was, oh shit, I should play.
Wow, what a shocker.
I should play Giannis, the best player in the world, like 12 more minutes a game. And you're like, genius. Mike Budenholzer's a genius. We got Jeff here.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have information that may lead to the overturning of last night's game in Miami. Also, the agency vote. Certain operatives in Sandler are on my payroll. So let's talk Turkey.
We were just talking Turkey. We were talking Turkish CIA agents.
I don't know anything about that. I didn't hear any of that.
Oh my God.
What's up, Jeff? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Doing well, dude. We are Joe Biden nuke Boston. Okay, calm down. I have friends in Boston. Let's not murder my friends.
Nuking Peter. We just see a bright flash in front of Peter's face, and then he just goes off.
So, Jeff, what are we drinking, bud?
This is this kind of gross beer from Kentucky, where I live.
Okay, so we were talking Kentucky a little bit ago, although we were talking about something that was not very good related to Kentucky.
It's okay.
But what we did talk, actually we talked something very good related to Kentucky, which is Rick Pitino, which leads me to my second favorite college coach, Coach Cal, your boy.
Oh yeah. My favorite thing, one of my favorite things that happened this season was like they were interviewing quickly after a game, and they were like they'd won big or something, and Tibbs was being weird, and they were like, "What's it like playing for Tibbs? Like, he's such a weird dude." And quickly was like, like you'd think he's weird, but I played for John Calipari, and he's weird, and I was just like, "Whoa!" Like, Cal's
that's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Weirder than Tibbs, the guy who literally is his whole thing is like ruining his own players' bodies.
Yeah.
He eats ACLs for dinner.
I'm like desperate to know what Isaiah quickly thinks is like that weird about Coach Cal. An amazing follow on Instagram is Coach Cal's wife, who like posts. She like constantly posts about him in this very funny, like playful. She calls him like my roommate all the time. It's and like he's like taking out.
He's like, we don't fuck.
Yeah. He's always like taking out the trash, and then they got super upset this year because Cal's daughter, who teaches at Vanderbilt, bought a house down there, and people were like, "Oh, obviously Coach Cal bought her the house," and the like Instagram account went on like red alert to rebut this rumor. She bought that house with her money. It's amazing.
His daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if your dad is John Calipari, why would you ever buy your own house? Why is this like a problematic?
It's important.
Yeah, but Cal can't be seen buying a house in the town of an SEC rival.
True. He can't support.
No matter how play pretend Vanderbilt's basketball program is.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta do economic warfare. Hey, you're talking about the school that produced Aaron Nesmith.
Oh, and Scottie Pippen Jr., known superstar.
Stackhouse is coaching there, future Sixers coach Stackhouse.
Oh, we're bringing him back for round 2. We already had a weird, unforetold part of Sixers history is the Sixers had Jerry Stackhouse. And then they just drafted Allen Iverson, and then they were like, we have to trade Jerry Stackhouse immediately because they play the same position. That's how weird the NBA used to be. They were like, we have 2 good players. Nope, we got to get rid of one of them. Nowadays, you would just be
like pretty large. Yeah, he's 6'6". Like, he could totally just slot up. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, they could just make him a small forward or a shooting guard or whatever.
Like, Allen Iverson was a shooting guard with he has the maxi thing where he's a shooting guard but in a point guard's body. Like, you could have just started both of them and like you would have been really bad defensively, but like your offense would have been kick ass, dude. It would have been so much fun to watch. Instead, I had to watch Eric Snow run the offense and shoot like someone brought up a stat earlier, and it was actually the Celtics when the Celtics and Sixers played in the mid 2000s in the playoffs. Eric Snow shot like 11 for 40 on wide open shots in that series. Like they just left him completely open the entire series, and he shot 11 for 40. And I was like, man, I have just never known good basketball as a Sixers fan. It's just always been, especially in the playoffs, just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, those Sixers need to be investigated and taken to the Hague.
Yeah,
it's such a malpractice to sign like what was how old, like 67-year-old Dikembe Mutombo and think that you're a finals team. That's so fucked up.
Well, they traded for him and they made the finals, to be clear.
Yeah, fucked up. Why are you doing that? Get a real center.
It was like you said before, you had to do it to guard Shaq. Everyone had to have a Shaq defender.
Yeah, this is true. This is my narrative for why Dwayne Wade has never won a real ring.
But
they're all fake.
I just want to say the Shaq Gobert conversation.
Oh, that's so funny.
Could you imagine Rudy Gobert trying to guard Shaq?
Yeah, he'd be folded.
I'm like, you can't even guard Jokic and Embiid. You think you're going to guard Shaq?
After that game, Rudy Gobert would be so folded, you could fit all 7 foot of him into a Samsonite suitcase. Not a damn chance.
All right, I'm going to grab a beer real quick. You guys talk about Baguette Boban for a second.
Another cool Kentucky thing. which I'll just sneak in here to keep the brand up, is I read Aaron White, the Tanking to the Top book, and he mentions that like one of Hinkie's medical guys taught at this tiny college in Kentucky. And I like looked him up, and now he's at UK, and he was like the weird sports medicine process guy. And
Interesting.
I'm like, I gotta, like, I feel like he's a dude I could like reach out to him and be like, let's go get a beer and see if he'll give me the dirt. Like somebody like that removed, you know, where it would like never get back to them.
I think it's kind of very plausible. I also want to know if does he still work at Kentucky right now?
Yeah, he works. He's like somewhere in the med school or something.
Yeah. So if you ever find him, I want like soon. I want to know about Shaedon Sharpe.
Shaedon Sharpe, dude. So he's not coming back to Kentucky, right?
No, he's going right to the draft.
Yeah.
But
why did he even go to Kentucky? Do we know why?
Like, he made it into the draft by sort of fake being in college for like he didn't have to go play.
Oh,
yeah.
So he did the Bates thing, or he
he did the Bates thing, but the difference is that when Bates did it, his high school transcripts were all good, buttoned up because his dad owns the high school. Shaedon Sharpe's parents do not own the high school. So he had to graduate in December and then was like deemed ineligible by Calipari in January. They said they were going to sit him for the whole year.
Yeah.
But that like confused me because like why wouldn't you just play in the G League?
He joined the team in January and like sat on the bench and they were like, "Oh, he's going to practice with us and the decision will be made down the line." It was like one of these stories where if you didn't pay close attention to it, you were just like, obviously he's going into the draft and not coming back. But like all of the sort of Kentucky media was like, what's his decision going to be? What's he's going to, and then it was like, no. Oh,
Coach Cal was like, look, we love Shaedon Sharpe. If you think about it, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, Shannon Sharpe. Now he's on Fox with Skip Bayless. We love Skip Bayless too, by the way, folks. We love Shaedon. We think he's going to be great in the NBA. He reminds me, Shaedon, he's a shooting guard. He reminds me a lot of another shooting guard that went to Kentucky, Mr. Devin Booker, who, by the way, I don't know if you've been watching the NBA playoffs, but he's been fantastic. Came in 4th place in MVP voting. We love it. We love Shaedon.
Here's my other thing with Shaedon Sharpe too, though, is this might come across as a bit jingoistic, but he's Canadian. How good could he really be?
Shaedon Sharpe?
Yeah, he's Canadian. He's from Toronto.
Well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also went to Kentucky.
Okay,
and is
he's the only good. He's the only one that's like marginally a star, though. Yeah, I guess you have Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray also
co-star.
Kentucky doesn't have a recent history of having good Canadian guards in the NBA. Just 2 of the top 50 players.
Defending Canadian guards.
Jamal Murray is not winning an MVP, though.
True. But that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
It's a great point. He's actually never
out here winning MVPs. Slovenians are MVP candidates. Cameroon, I have yet to see a Canadian MVP candidate since Steve Nash.
He also single-handedly dragged that loser Nikola Jokic to the Game 7 of a second-round series and the Western Conference Finals in the bubble. Parody satire, but not really though. So I do
Canadian though. I had a lot of hype. RJ Barrett, what's he doing?
I always thought RJ Barrett sucked. I actually was, and he doesn't suck. Fairness to RJ Barrett.
He's fine.
He's fine. He'd be the best two-way wing on the Sixers. But other than Tobias,
who's
good
on the Sixers
for some reason, yeah. But the thing about RJ Barrett was I watched literally just the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament that year, and I was like, oh, this guy sucks. But it was really just Coach K being like, we're going to give him the ball instead of Zion for some reason at the end of these games. Coach K was terrible his last few years. Somehow just got the best talent and got as far as he did. But like, I remember watching those and being like, why doesn't Zion have the ball? If Zion Williamson, literally no one can stop him. He's a freight train. And you're like, Yeah, let's give the ball to RJ Barrett so he can do his little bullshit Andrew Wiggins impression.
Not to be rude, Cal's kind of had that problem the last couple of years too. I feel like they're all the blue chip guys are getting out schemed now. Like all the old guard.
It's been weird years down here.
You know, it's like Baylor. Really? Texas Tech? Like, what's happening? Where's our country gone? What happened? What happened to this beautiful nation? Where's the University of Kentucky winning basketball games? I guess we got course correction this year with Kansas, but I fucking hate Bill Self, so
you're the only person that hates Bill Self. No one has an opinion on Bill Self.
I think he's such a choke artist, dude. And every single one of his players, except for Joel Embiid and Marcus Smart, are huge busts.
Marcus Smart didn't even go to.
No. He went Oklahoma State. Yeah, so it's literally just.
Well, Wiggins
is the only good Kansas player.
But he was a bust for being the number 1 overall pick. Yeah. But has had a good NBA career. Like he just made the All-Star team because of a K-pop band. So, which literally, can anyone else ever say that they have made the NBA All-Star team because of a K-pop band? Exactly.
No.
He made history this year.
No.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say, I do love Skip. I love Skip Bayless. I love Stephen A. Smith. I even love Charles Barkley, even though he says, I love that they just make people mad when it's very obviously not their real opinion. It's very obvious that they're acting, and people get legitimately upset on Twitter and talk about how they're not really breaking down basketball or doing anything. And then I'm like, yes, my girlfriend who is not into sports at all was cracking up last night when they were doing the Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley. Did you see with them sprinting to the screen?
Oh yeah, they do that every time.
Touching it.
Mm-hmm.
And then LeBron, and then she was like, LeBron is tweeting about it? What is happening? Why? And she was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, this is why they get such high ratings, and then my show gets 800 viewers because they're the kings and I'm a plebe, is what I'm trying to say.
You need to take out 6 credit cards and get a giant touch, one of those big election voting touch screens on
your Wolf Blitzer,
just permanently installed back there.
I'm Steve, the guy who works for MSNBC but also is on the Sixers pregame sometimes for some reason.
He was doing Kentucky Derby breakdowns the other day, and I was like, how do you even analytically break down horse racing? Isn't it just a complete shot in the dark?
Watch yourself here, Parm.
Yeah, he's in Kentucky, so you better watch yourself. But Steve Kornacki or whatever his name is basically just Nate Silver if he ever got pussy.
I'm pretty sure Steve Kornacki's gay.
Okay, well, if he ever got laid, I should say. Nate Silver is never once in his life. But Steve, whatever, is a king. Also, why do you know that?
My brain is poison.
I know everything about the guy from fucking MSNBC who does the maps.
Stephen A. did a great.
Oh, Nate Silver's also gay? What? That's Ryan Drakely, who is the our resident expert on gays, has told me that he is. So literally both gay. So my bad, Nate Silver. My bad, Steve. That's so funny. But Steve's way cooler than Nate was my point here.
That's very true.
Stephen A. did a great bit. I think he and JJ, they were picking who was going to win this last game, parody satire. And Stephen A. was they basically got him to admit that he had picked Miami because he wanted to go on vacation. He wanted ESPN to pay for the vacation.
It was so good.
And then they were like, well, you're saying it's different if the basketball's on? And he was like, listen, he was like, LA is beautiful. You've got the sun and the palm trees. but it's just not the same when the Lakers aren't relevant. And they were like, this is a ridiculous thing to say. And then he just like totally went into it. And he was like, he just doubled down on this absurd position and was like, no, like things are different. They feel different in this space.
He's been saying for years that this is not the first year he's done this. He's openly rooted for Miami and LA to go further in the playoffs on First Take, just so that he can basically just have vacations in the middle. And honestly, that's workers' rights, if you ask me.
That's king shit. It like when Bill like votes Marcus Smart DPOY and then like stumps for him, that he should be arrested. But Stephen A should get to go on vacation based on.
Yeah. They
like,
don't fly him out for the Philly series, right? They probably just tell him to get in his fucking BMW and drive down the turnpike.
They need like an Amtrak train just for Stephen A.
Just for Stephen A. They have the First Take studio on the train. They just leave it in the station during the game.
Like an old-timey president.
Yeah, they they give him the Tim Bontemps treatment. They just give him Uber X credits. And they're like, figure it out, Stephen A. Although Parm's theory is that, you know, the less plane traveling, the better for these series. So
yeah, put Joel on the Excella. Put all the boys on the Excella.
In the quiet car with Nate Silver.
Pro tip. Also, if you fuck up for any Northeast regional rail riders, if you fuck up and accidentally get on the wrong train, you can always hide in the dining car and they never come and check your ticket. I've done it 3 times. You just go into the dining car when the conductor comes to the little ticket thing, you go to take a shit, they never come back for you.
YouTube's gonna take this video down for teaching people
Why? I paid for the train ticket. I just got on the wrong one, and I didn't want to sit in Delaware for 45 minutes waiting for my right train. I paid. The government, the Amtrak has my dollars. I'm not.
I know it's true. People do forget that Amtrak is literally funded by the government, and it's a private company.
It's like the
Makes
FDIC.
literally no sense. By the
It's
way,
like one of the 3, right? I think it's Amtrak, FDIC, and the Postal Service.
Sure. Why not?
This is me putting my political science degree to use.
That's brilliant, dude.
You're a poli-sci major.
Yeah, goddamn right, dude.
Giannis has 21 points on 9 of 15 shooting, and the Bucks are down 6. He's at the line again. Bontemps is on the no-flight list.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's very possible. Kyrie Irving made sure he was never going to fly again. He's like, that guy is on my list. And wow, Giannis just missed both free throws. And Drew hit a pull-up 3 because they got the rebound.
All 3 of you saw the Kyrie video, right? I have to assume all of you have.
Well, which one?
The one where he's playing Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's so fucking funny. Both of you have to watch it immediately. It's so good.
He's basically talking about OnlyFans, and he's like, look, I support... Because Kyrie still has to pretend like he's woke.
Oh, that's not even the one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, he has multiple videos where he's playing.
Yeah. He did like a Reddit voice. And he was like, the video is just him speaking like, this is how all of you sound. Ooh, Kyrie, go back to Cleveland. Everyone hates you. Oh, Boston hates you so much. And then he's just like that for like 5 minutes.
I'm very conflicted on Kyrie still. I feel like I have to stand him for making fun of white sports fans so much.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
It's great. Did you see the thing where he talked about the parlays? Did you see where he's playing 2K and he's talking about parlays?
No.
And he's like, look, I've gambled before. Not on sports games, by the way. Just gotta preface that. I have not bet on the NBA, Kyrie Irving, but I have gone to casinos. I get why it's fun, whatever. And he's like, you motherfuckers coming in my mentions because you didn't hit your parlay. He's basically saying, like, get a fucking life, dude. He's like, if you want me to hit on your parlays, come and do my fucking job. He's basically like, it is funny because Kyrie's like one of the, like, in terms of like success in your field, one of the 75, at worst 100 best players of all time.
Oh yeah.
And he's still like jaded and bitter because
rocks.
Because he's too online. Awesome. Him and KD are kind of perfect together in that regard.
Meanwhile, this is why the Nets didn't work out, because both of them are extremely online, and James Harden does not have internet.
We do not know what the internet is. By the way, we can't reference that tweet anymore. We can't get James in trouble.
Why? They didn't pull in Jack Harlow. James Harden's fine.
Probably doesn't have internet because of the RICO investigation. That was like really getting out in front there. Definitely don't try and check any internet records, because he doesn't have them.
That's actually why he wore the Blue Lives Matter mask, so that he wouldn't get indicted on the RICO charges. He wanted to have the image there to prove that he wasn't a crook.
What if he was like state's evidence? What if that's why he forgot his mask, and so he like grabbed it out of the cop car as he like went to go? Something like that.
Someone said they're taking James off the court in cuffs in Game 7. Honestly, might be better for his safety if the Sixers lose Game 7. To be honest, luckily it's not at home. But I just want to say the whole Young Thug thing makes me very sad. He's one of my favorite musicians. I feel very conflicted because I hate, police and the law and shit like that. But if he really is connected to all these murders, it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, free Young Thug. Like,
here's the thing that puzzles me about that article. One of the crimes that he is accused of being a part of is going to Hertz.
That's right.
And renting a Infinity SUV that was used in a hitman style murder.
So it's the Aaron Hernandez.
That's what they're accusing him of, renting an Infinity, which is a luxury SUV from Hertz, so that someone could do a hit in it. Now, I'm no expert on committing a crime, but I would think that you could go and buy a Lincoln Town car from 2001 for about $1,000 and just dump it in the river. And that would save you a lot more money than renting an Infinity, where everything is tracked from the mileage to your whereabouts.
Yeah, well, that's always the insane thing about these investigations is like these are criminal masterminds, and then they're like, oh, by the way, my name is Jeffrey Williams, and I'm renting this car. I'm wearing a T-shirt that says "My name is Young Thug" on it, and like. I don't know. It doesn't really seem like a criminal mastermind to me. Ooh, Tatum just fell hard. That looked painful.
I just slipped.
He did, but it looked painful.
But I think I was going to say we've been having a lot of discussions about this RICO case, and it is interesting to note that this is a state RICO case. It is not a federal.
It's different. Yeah, I know. I've seen lawyers on Twitter explain this, and I'm like, I trust you with my life. So. Well, Falk's coming in later. I think he's in law school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
maybe he works for lawyers.
Mm-hmm. There you go. He can explain it. But kind of going back to rap in less sad terms, but not quite as. Speaking of Kentucky, did anyone listen to that Jack Harlow album? Because
fuck no,
it is maybe the worst rap album I've heard ever. Like,
oh, really?
It's horrendously bad.
It's worse than the Macklemore one?
Pitchfork gave it a 2.9.
Yeah, but
honestly, that's high. That's higher than I would have given it. I think it's like
considering that Pitchfork can be bought and sold for a 2.9 is like, what are you doing?
Back in the day, they would have given that album a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, before they were bought by Condé Nast, they would have given that album a 0.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, listening to this album is like living in Los Angeles and eating at Qdoba every day. Like, if you're choosing to listen to this Jack Harlow.
That's such a good tweet, dude. It's so good. It's like, it is literally I don't even know how to describe how bad it is. It's like a bad Drake impression, but not even like good Drake, not even like if you're reading this, it's too late. Nothing was the same, Drake. Like, if you only heard Drake from the past 3 years and then you water that down, which is like the worst era of Drake.
It's Drake, but the entire album are the 25 songs on a Drake album that no one listens to.
Yeah. basically, it's Drake. It's Drake. Like, and Drake is on the album, by the way, and it's one of the only interesting parts of the entire album. When you get like 32-year-old Drake on there, and it's like the highlight of your album, probably not a great sign.
No
like,
way. He's
and
only
White rapper,
32.
Drake, he might be like 34.
35. Why did I think he was like Pusha, where he was like deceptively very old?
Nah, he was like 24.
Like 44.
The only reason I know that is because he said 25 sitting on 25 mil like 10 years ago. So
interesting.
25 sitting on 25
I always find that aspect of rap guys very interesting. Like all the Griselda dudes are like in their 40s.
And they but they're like in like their mid 40s now. Like they were like 38 when they blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird to me because it's kind of like when it's like the Duncan Robinson thing where you're like, Duncan Robinson's 28 years old. He's only been in the league for 3 years. But it's the rap version of that. It is hard to believe because like they'll rap about things and you're like, they're older than me and I'm about to be 32 and like they'll rap about things and like reference things from like the mid 2000s when they were like college age. They're like, yeah, back in 2002 when I was, fucking 24 years old. And it's like, wait, what were you doing for 15 years? Like after you graduated from high school or college or wherever you did, like, what was Griselda doing? I can never figure that out. I've looked it up. Like, I'm not a Griselda fan. I don't really like that style of rap, but like, I'm just very interested on like, what was Griselda doing during the, like, were they just
at least
were they just
who are the ones that are related of the two? I think it's
West Side Gun and Conway.
Is it West Side Gun and Conway and Benny the Butcher's the odd one?
Yeah,
out?
I'm not sure.
But
Marcus Smart just hit another 3, by the way. This is unbelievable.
West Side Gun and the one that he's related to, they have both been rapping since like 2002.
That's crazy, dude.
They were like rapping the same time Clips was still like in existence.
It's like the equivalent of those like athletes that are just like grinding their ass off for like years and they don't even like Vince Papali of rap, basically. Like we're never gonna give up on our dreams kind of thing. Like honestly, serious respect to those guys. Because I'm in my 30s now and like I would totally understand if after like 12 years of not making it, if they were just like, you know what, maybe it's time to throw in the towel. Like maybe we're not going to make it as rappers, but they're like, nope, we're still going to. Not only Griselda is so old that they're rapping the same way that they did. Their rap style is the same exact that it was when they were in high school. And that sound was popular when they were in high school.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of
they're not completely unsuccessful though. I think they were on like real East Coast grinder shit, like Rock Marciano.
Oh, okay.
Like they were on
so
like
they were getting like spot features and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always well, like Future was like 30 when he blew up. People don't. I don't think like when he got really big, but he was always kind of around. Like he was. His cousins was in fuck, what's that Atlanta group that's like the big collective that has like Outkast and CeeLo Green, the Dungeon Family.
Yeah.
Right.
And Future's cousin was in that. So like he was always around and like in his 20s was just kind of like hanging out. But it was like him, Macklemore, Eminem, like there were like, no, I'm not saying like together. I'm saying like they didn't blow up until they were like 30 years old.
Oh, yeah. What I think
like
is really
Eminem
funny
was 28 when his first album came out.
Yeah. what I think's really funny about that is that studio in Atlanta is right across the street from Hank Aaron's house.
Really?
Yeah, the all-time home runs leader in Major League Baseball lives across the street, or lived before he passed away.
I was gonna say, yeah, he passed away, but it's just in a basement, right? Like they call it the Dungeon Family because it literally was.
It's just a house, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just someone's. That's crazy, dude. And they made like literally some of the best albums of all time there. Like it's absolutely wild.
Did you see the Boban age joke in the Adam Sandler Hustle trailer?
Yeah, really good.
Great line delivery, like incredible. It's like, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 22. How old is
my son?
He's like, he's 10. That movie's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be so good. It's probably gonna be horrible, but I'm gonna love it.
They just announced Dan Deacon's doing the soundtrack, which is just like
who's that?
Older millennial. Just they're pandering to me. He is like a Wham City, Baltimore guy.
I don't know what any of these words mean.
Yeah, it's okay, guys.
He's like a one of my friends is really into Dan
It's like
Deacon.
electro pop punk kind of.
Yep.
It was like this whole.
I fuck with that. Okay, I can get down to that.
It's pretty fun. Like when Animal Collective was big in the mid-aughts, like Dan Deacon was kind of like Baltimore party music. They had a whole like goofy scene there. But anyway, it should be fun.
Well, Baltimore has very good a good history of electronic music.
Yeah,
I know that because I
there's like lots of bleed over between.
Yeah. I like some of the underground Baltimore electronic I've heard. But the what was I gonna say? Someone just said Drew Hanlon is in the Adam Sandler movie, which means that it's gonna be great. Hopefully they talk shit on Jokic in it. That would be hilarious.
They're like, yo, Hanlon ad-libbed this scene. Like he took like one course at Second City. Like he
they were playing scrubs overseas in Spain like Nikola Jokic.
I was watching it and I was thinking about your Live, Laugh, Love Jimmy Butler and being like, this is like Live, Laugh, Love Uncut Gems 100%.
Yeah, it's literally like, what if they made Uncut Gems but they aired it on Disney Family Channel?
Yeah.
They were like, what if we made a Disney version? What's that?
Freeform.
Freeform, yes. ABC. The Freeform version. I was thinking, like, isn't it weird that Adam Sandler has 2 movies based around the Philadelphia 76ers in the last few years? Like, what are the odds of this? Like, was he so inspired by Uncut Gems that he was like, I'm gonna go make another movie in Philly?
Yeah.
It's also like has not. You think that Morey was hung up on the Harden trade because he was like, look, Sess in the movie as a Sixer. Like, he's hanging out with Adam Sandler. Like, I can't trade him. It's not good for the movie.
It's like how they're like, nope, we're not trading Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert because All-Star Weekend, they need to have them on the team to host it. And like, I got to get rid of Tobias. And they're like, Tobias, like, he really pops on the screen. Like, he's got great chemistry with Queen Latifah. She goes to the cookie shop. Like,
they're like, have you seen Tobias's acting reel? I'm just saying, it's fantastic stuff. The man's gonna win an Oscar, and that contract's not gonna look as bad. Is all I'm saying. He
uses all his meditation to go like full method actor. Like what if that was the thing? Is he's like, yo, I just like got inside the headspace of this actor who like rules and like makes quick decisions. My character made quick decisions and like cut these 23s.
My character never over dribbles. My character is committed to defense and moving his feet in space and is now just like, you know, a guy.
Here's my question about as it relates to the contract though. Does an Oscar win get you a Supermax? Does that count as an accolade towards a Supermax contract?
Is that part of it?
Is a best actor in an Oscar award? Does that count? Is that one of the awards that goes towards qualifying for a Supermax?
Well, my question is like, Matisse Thybulle made second team all defense. So does he qualify for more money than like someone who has no accolade? Like Devin Booker didn't have any accolades in his first 4 seasons, and like I guess he got a max contract, but like it's just funny to me that it's like Matisse Thybulle, who's like one of the worst players in the playoffs right now, would qualify for something because he got second. He's going to get second team all defense for probably the second straight season, and he's like legitimately not good at all.
This is why everybody's giving Bill grief. You know, these media people, you know, creating the narrative, whipping it up, get Marcus Smart DPOY. He's
influencing the masses outside of Massachusetts, folks.
Do you think Tobias has been good enough to actually get something
good in a trade? No. He's
Yeah,
going to
he's
make
like
$40 million next year.
Okay, well, the cap is going up.
Peter, do you think Rudy Gobert is good?
What's that?
Peter, do you like Rudy Gobert? Do you want Rudy and Joel together? You probably get that for Tobias.
No, you
probably get a little Twin Towers Rudy and Joel action going. Two French national team teammates.
Yeah, that would be my personal 9/11. So it would be.
It would be great if they were like Al and Embiid didn't work out, but Al looks great now. So we'll run it back by getting Rudy.
1920, but what if we had someone who can't shoot either?
Yeah,
had a
what if we
worse
got
personality?
Ben Simmons with even less skills?
But he was taller with longer arms.
Now, what about if it was like Maxey and Tobias? Not
Maxey and Tobias could get you
like
a very good player.
Player.
Maxey and Tobias could get you a top 40 player, 100%. Yeah. But also, like, what top 40 player are you trading Maxey and Tobias for? Like, is Paul George becoming available? Like, I struggle to see who would fit well enough that you would be like, yeah, let's go get that guy.
I just think Maxey, like, the contract is going to be so essential moving forward.
Exactly.
Like no
for the next 2 years,
absolutely.
Really. Marcus Smart just hit another pull-up 3.
Yeah, that was crazy too.
What the fuck is happening?
Hold on, can I get a time check? Yeah, all right. No, never mind. I'm just a possession behind.
2:03 in the third quarter.
I'm going to get a beer.
I mean, if Marcus Smart is going to hit 3 pull-up 3s in a game, the Bucks have no chance. Also, it's funny that the Bucks. It's funny that the Celtics have like 5 white players on the team, and like one of them plays. It's funny. They're just like Sam Hauser, fucking Sauce Castillo. Go to the bench. Know your place.
Can we talk about how this team was devoid of vibes for a season and a half, and they bring fucking Daniel Tice back, and it all works again? My personal sleep paralysis demon, Daniel Tice. Keeps me up at night.
Wow. Jaylen Brown just hit another pull-up 3. Yeah, I mean, Boston's going to the finals, and they're probably going to win.
I don't want. All right, Mike Chiodo.
I mean, I'm not even being a doomer right now. Are you telling me that this is not who? Like, okay, let's say the Sixers lose tomorrow.
Let's not. Let's say they win both games by 60 points each.
I think the Celtics are going to beat us in 6.
I don't know.
Joel Embiid not 100%. Celtics are winning that series, dude. Come on. I think the Celtics would beat us even if Joel was 100%. I think they're that uniquely bad of a matchup for us. So a bunch of guys who can shoot and also athletic, switchable defenders. Basically, a better version of what Toronto and Miami have given us pain in the ass for certain games.
But there are a couple guys like I feel like it feels like a decently even unguardable guys matchup. Right?
Yeah.
Because Tatum unguardable by the Sixers is just not going to happen. Tobias and Danny Green aren't going to cut the mustard.
No.
But
also the difference is that like we know that James Harden and Joel Embiid can be schemed to be slowed down. Like, I love Joel.
But then who do you
like,
put on Maxey if you're the Celtics? You're not going to burn Marcus Smart on him because you need him for Harden.
Jaylen Brown's a
and
good
Jaylen Brown. Maxey's much faster than Jaylen Brown is. You can blow by him.
But like Maxey has certain.
He'd have to really turn it on. Don't get me wrong. Like,
but Maxey just has certain games where if his jump shot isn't falling, like he's not even trying to get to the rim right now.
Yep.
Like that's just like.
Yeah.
Look, he's still 21, man. Like.
We also just like
it's a lot of pressure, but I think
he's had the reps.
Doing it. Like he's blown my mind all year.
I don't think he's had the reps to like play to like really compete with a team that's that stacked and has played together for that. Like we basically have to play like 90th percentile ball to win.
Exactly. We have to have insane shooting basically for the entire, like we have to have George Niang and Danny Green hit 50% of their threes so that they're playable for long stretches.
And imagine like Jaylen just driving through George Niang like over and over.
He's playable though that series.
Niang?
It's just the first time it's probably the first time he's been like a reasonable player to play. Like not in a desperation. Like it's a good fit for the Celtics.
I think his knee is legitimately fucked up too. Like he's like even slower now.
Yeah.
I think we already thin and banged up. I don't really
just went up 12, by the way. Jaylen Brown just hit another.
Have you considered that George is also a Bostonian though?
It's true.
He loves the Garden. He's a real grinder.
The only place on the road that George Niang can shoot might be Massachusetts.
Yeah, he's parking that minivan.
Hey, remember, we went 3-1 against them this year, didn't we?
We were what?
We were like 3-1 against them this year.
The Celtics?
Against us, yeah.
No, we were not.
That was when they sucked. They turned the corner.
We also did that. That's not true at all. We were 1-3 against the Celtics this year. We beat them one time. Yeah, they beat us. They beat us in the game where Tobias had the last possession. It was like tied. Tobias had the last possession and he couldn't get by Al Horford. Then they fucking crushed us at home. And then I think we lost a game where Embiid didn't play. But the only time we beat them was when Enes Kanter was playing for them. So
and Enes, Kentucky, speaking of, it all comes back.
It is very funny that Enes Kanter, like I remember being like, well, Enes Kanter probably came from the Turkish league or whatever. And then I was like, he went to Kentucky? Why don't I remember that?
He didn't play. Yeah. I think he was like, it was like he was like the Shaden Sharp of that season.
He didn't really play at all?
No, I don't think he played. I think he was like technically on the team, but like maybe injured or something like that.
Gotcha.
It's the same thing happened where people were like, oh yeah, Enes went to Kentucky. I don't remember that at all. Yeah. I think he played at some weird, I could be wrong, but I think like a weird like boarding school in West Virginia and then went to Kentucky or something. Like strange stuff.
Oh, that's right. Wasn't the boarding school he went to was like associated with that guy who the Erdogan accused to overthrow him?
Gulen. I don't know if the one in the US was like a Gulen-esque thing, but in Turkey he kind of like moved up through or like was in that.
I know way too much about Turkish politics. It's against my will, really. It's never like I've never even gone out of my way to like search Turkish. Oh, someone's in here. Oh, Falk's here.
Wait, how did he play Fenner? Wait, hold on, I'm so confused.
He's got the I Heart slop on. Yeah, let's get it.
How we doing?
Wait, Enes played at Kentucky and then also Fenerbahce. How is that possible?
Wait, what?
He has a 4 game. According to Basketball Reference,
well, he was probably 17 when
this was in 2008.
Yeah, so he would have been like 17.
Yeah,
but
I thought when you play for a EuroLeague team, you're cooked. Like because they pay you money.
All right. Well,
they pay you money at Kentucky too. Just it used to be.
Yeah, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like the checks are signed. It's not $100 wads in a McDonald's bag.
He got paid in the Turkish league and then like suspended in college because there was money
okay.
Involved.
All right.
Wait,
Because he played no games for Kentucky.
Yeah, Grum is saying that said that in the comments. I believe he was ineligible. Yeah.
Okay.
Season series between the Sixers and the Celtics was 2-2. We won 2 games against the Celtics. I only remember the one.
I thought we won 3.
No, we lost the one on the last possession of the game because Tobias couldn't beat Horford off the dribble, and everyone was mad at him.
And then we lost one because the Harden hadn't showed up yet.
We played them early in the season and did well, and then when they became good, they just kicked the shit out of us, right? Basically.
So, R.I.P. All right. So, Falk, you work in law, right? You know law things.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain, do you know the difference between state RICO charges and federal RICO charges at all?
Oh, no. They don't.
You don't? Okay. All right.
Well, that's not exactly my area.
Field of expertise. Gotcha.
No. But
because we were worried about Young Thug and Gunna. By the way, I heard Gunna's, is he already out, someone said? Or was that a joke?
I'm not sure.
You've not been following the Young Thug Gunna?
Not like as closely as I probably should. Another thing that I haven't really been following in the law right now.
What's that?
So there's a few things going on in the law right now that are taking up a lot of people's.
I haven't heard anything except for the YSL stuff. That's all. That's the only thing that matters to me is that one of my favorite musicians might go to jail. It's very sad.
From what I have heard,
institutions are imperiled. Beginning with YSL.
What's that?
I said our institutions are you're like our institutions are imperiled. Our American institutions.
It's like Young Thug. Our nation is falling because Thug is potentially going to jail. He made Barter 6, folks. Come on, it's my Bible.
I just refuse to think that a criminal mastermind is spending $10,000 a month on Twizzlers and vitamin injections. Like, I just refuse to believe that someone's doing that while being.
You know that Trump was our president, and he's also not a mastermind, but definitely a criminal. And he was spending a lot of money on Big Macs and Diet Cokes, like to the point where it definitely poisoned his brain.
He's at least, but Donald Trump has never come out publicly and said that he didn't enjoy the experience of eating meals. Which is something yeah, that's like the whole thing. Young Thug doesn't he said this in an interview. I think it was like Consequence or something. They did like a sit down and he was like, yeah, I don't really enjoy the experience of eating meals. So instead I just eat candy and then a doctor comes like twice a month and injects him with all his necessary vitamins and minerals.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I literally didn't even know that I could like Young Thug more than I did.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was so great that Jeff got pissed and left.
Why? Because Thomas Bryant is here?
The Knicks. Oh, man.
No.
The king is here.
Rip. All right.
Oh, do I have to sign up if I need to see the chat, the YouTube chat?
You could just go to the...
Yeah, I just click comments.
Yeah, apparently you can click on... Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can do that. Also, I can put the best ones on the screen if you guys have suggestions.
Yeah. Actually, I did prepare in honor of Celtics-Bucks. I'm just going to read 3 pages from the Space Jam 2 script.
Just recite it. Thank you, sir.
I might do the voices too if I have enough.
Speaking of, this might be the best Bud faces of the year tonight. They keep panning over to him, and he just looks like a fucking train wreck. He is sweating bullets. He looks drenched, like he just went into a swimming pool.
I'm feeling like the white Doc Rivers. That's what Bud is saying on the sideline. I do feel as though that Bud has these very theatrical, amazing. Oh my God, the Bucks can't stop fouling, but he always has like these. If you search Coach Bud, he always has He always has gifs where he looks like he's about to die on the sideline. The doc gif of him just leaning over, like when he put Paul Millsap into the game and Giannis was like, "I'm going to score 40 straight points."
He's the look at this man. He looks like he's about to burst into tears. Like he looks like this is affecting him emotionally, and every other coach on the Sun but Bud is just livid in this moment. And he's really going through it on the sidelines.
Oh my God. Peyton Pritchard. This is bad for the Bucks. Down 14, 10 minutes left.
PP.
I mean, I gotta say, the Giannis era is a little bit underwhelming to start. We're living in the Giannis era.
I was told he was good at basketball.
I was told that he could do more than just run and jump. And
you were also told he had no bag, though. And that ended up being
because I know ball.
Yeah.
If Giannis has a bag, it has a fucking hole in the bottom of it.
It's most of the time it works, but
Peyton Pritchard is legit. Does have a bigger bag than Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
No cap.
Well, that's to be quite honest with you. Every single 6 foot tall guy in the NBA has a 6 foot tall bag, because that's the only way you're making it into the NBA at 6 feet tall is if you have an enormous bag.
Trey Burke is more skilled than Giannis, is what I'm trying to say.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Oh,
he
Jeff
also
is back.
loves basketball more.
Yeah.
That's the. Where'd you go?
My computer melted down.
Oh,
as soon as Thomas Bryant showed up in the chat.
Wow.
Coincidence? I think not.
All right.
It's cool that we consistently get NBA center Thomas Bryant to comment on the You Know Ball podcast.
Yeah, real delight.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, Joel Embiid follows me on Twitter.
True.
Thomas Bryant watches the podcast, is a big supporter, donates to the Patreon that doesn't exist. I talk to Harrison Sanford sometimes. He has a podcast with Danny Green. We are on the come up, folks, is what I'm trying to say.
You've also had on a certain canceled reporter on the pod who also did a nice, lovely article about Danny Green's tattoos and what they mean to him on an emotional and spiritual level.
Oh yeah, we talked about the UAE basketball.
Oh no, we haven't. Jesus Christ,
is
so funny.
I have to go to the bathroom, but don't say anything about the UAE that will get me canceled and possibly assassinated.
No, because you have to be here for this.
Okay, all right, I will be.
You haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do just want to say that piece that you guys mentioned about Danny Green's tattoos, I will be voting for it for the Pulitzer Prize.
I saw some. I don't know if it was related to that post, but somebody was like, I've never noticed Danny Green's Marvel tattoos before. Wow. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, he's got a bullseye tattoo?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
The only one I think is funny, the only two are the Mike Muscala one, because he just has his entire, and he's Mike Muscala is 7 feet tall. Think about how big Mike Muscala's shoulder blade is. Think how big that bone is. That entire fucking shoulder blade is just Mario. That's gotta be the size of a dinner plate. That's a 3 foot tall Mario. Or 18 inches of just Mario on the back of his shoulder.
That's nuts. That is nuts.
And then the other one is King Mike Scott and all of his emoji tattoos.
The emoji tattoos were
so sick.
Tice has very funny tattoos. He's got it's flaming dice. He's got rockabilly tattoos. It looks like he has an angry orchard tree and then some fuzzy dice and Betty Boop and stuff like that. It's strange.
He just has a heart with an arrow through it that says "Mom."
Yeah. DeMar's Joker tattoo is pretty funny. There've got to be 20 Joker tattoos.
Oh, there has to be. I think Marcus Smart has one too.
Yeah, probably. Man, the Bucks are cooked.
Like,
Oh shit!
Yeah, so when
Pretty big dog.
I was obviously working, and by working I mean sitting on Discord for hours a day and not doing that. What has been what have the Celtics been doing? Like the Bucks just like sucking tonight, or
No, I mean the Celtics are just really good at home. And honestly, Tatum played like dog shit for a good chunk of this game. I shouldn't even say that. He just couldn't make a fucking shot. And overall, he was fine. It was just like he couldn't make a shot. And I was like, oh, Jason Tatum's like missed 11 shots and they're up 7. So not a good sign for the Bucks. Like, honestly, like unless Drew's hitting threes like he just did, and Giannis is just completely unstoppable, the Bucks just really have no chance without Middleton. And I think with Middleton, they probably win this series, or at least it's like it goes 7. Like I think it's possible that Boston just wins the next game and it's over in 6. I just feel like Milwaukee doesn't have enough talent without Middleton. Like I think that Middleton's tough shot making is incredibly important because the Bucks half court offense is never that good, and they just kind of need like a guy who's going to bail them out in some situations, like Harden did for the Sixers the other night.
Right.
They've played Wes Matthews 30 minutes tonight.
Yeah, like I mean, you're just
why?
Well, I
why,
mean,
Mike?
Wes
What are you
Has
doing?
Matthews even been that bad?
Yeah, he's been
Wes
horrible.
Matthews' defense
He's 2
on
for 8
Tatum
from the floor.
was actually really good early in the series. But at the same time, as someone pointed out, the reason why his defense was so good on Tatum was because Tatum couldn't hit a pull-up jumper. And if Tatum wasn't hitting pull-up threes, then Matthews was just going under. He couldn't fight over screens, and Tatum was just taking long twos and pull-up jumpers and couldn't hit anything. And then the second that those started to fall, it was like Boston was cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, and Woj just said that the Lakers are interviewing Kenny Atkinson.
Wow, that would be a good hire for them. So they're definitely not going to do it.
Please don't.
No way.
I mean, Kenny
ice cream
Atkinson's
truck
a pretty
back
good
trill.
coach. Like but he's also like not like. There he is. He's back.
You getting the SpongeBob ice pop, dude?
Yeah, dude. We're gonna get diabetes on air with fake sugars and colors.
Speaking of lifelong diseases, Austin Krell's tweet about the United Arab Emirates.
Okay, stop bringing up Austin Krell, please.
I just thought it was very funny that he's the only person out of the entire NBA media that's pro the NBA hosting games in the United Arab Emirates. I think that's very funny.
So, okay, admittedly not tuned into this conversation. I didn't even know what was happening until someone told me here earlier. Also, so funny that Giannis's brother is literally just a cheerleader for the team, and they pay him $1 million just to yell at Pat Connaughton when he makes threes and be happy.
Yep.
But, so
He played it all tonight. That's crazy.
So they're playing a game in Dubai, I assume.
Yeah, they're in Dubai.
I mean, United Arab Emirates is incredibly controversial just as its existence as it also is just like seems completely unnecessary, its existence. Like they have don't they have that like indoor ski? Like, like they have like the biggest ball in the world. And, like,
Actured, nothing is real there.
Yeah.
It's like what if we took Las Vegas and we made it an entire country?
That's what it's for, though. Isn't it because like Saudi Arabia's laws are so repressive that like anytime the royal family wants to like do anything that's like remotely entertaining, they have to like they basically invented a foreign country with lax laws so that they could like have a chill time while still having the most repressive laws in the books, and they're like the country that they govern.
So it's literally just Vegas, but a country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
That's amazing, actually. Now I support it. Just kidding.
But it's just like the Hawks and the Bucks. Like, you think they would want like at least like the Lakers or something?
Well, good. Maybe
LeBron.
Maybe we'll finally try Trae Young for his crimes against humanity while he's there. We'll just keep.
There's no way LeBron signs off on that. After he had to be Le Xi Jinping, I doubt that he's going to want to go to the United Arab Emirates too. He's just going to go to every country that people have bad things to say about and be their champion. I don't believe he's into that.
I don't think LeBron even knows what the United Arab Emirates is. He probably just doesn't care. Although Dubai,
he's definitely been to Dubai before.
Yeah, I was gonna say. No, he literally was in Dubai. Wasn't he there recently?
For what?
I don't know. But
He's
all I
been
saw
on vacation for a while, so
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great out here. All the Lakers fans broke out their Steph Curry jerseys. It's been awesome time out here.
Well, Zach LaVine's going to be a Laker. Did you hear the latest?
No, they're not. I tell every Lakers fan I know, and there a lot of them here. Obviously, I live in Southern California. That they have one more year of Russell Westbrook, and it's what they deserve. And they are like convinced they're going to trade him for something of value. That's just not true. They've been poisoned by LA sports brain.
They're going to trade him for the only way they get the best player they could get back for Russell Westbrook is Malcolm Brogdon in a wheelchair.
They could probably get Theo Maledon or like Vic Krejci from Oklahoma City. Bring Russ home on like one of those like you retire a Thunder deals.
I just want to say Lindy Waters is off
the table. Him and Kenrick Williams off the table.
Because Kenrick Williams is actually kind of good.
Yeah, they've been
no potential guys.
But LaVine to the Lakers, LeBron to the Sixers, Tobias to the Bulls is what I'm hearing.
I can't buy that he's ever gonna let himself be traded.
It's not gonna happen, but it's funny to think about. Phil Jackson wants to trade him and keep Westbrook is the latest report from around the horn legend Bill Plaschke.
It rules that the Lakers like managed to do the one thing that they can't get out of, like the one thing that they like can't undo.
Yeah,
that like, everyone in the league is like, oh no, I would never do that.
Yeah.
It rules. It's incredible.
It is amazing.
It's just insane because they still like the fans are so Lakers like LA pilled, just especially after this Rams season and like the Dodgers get whoever and are never bad. And the Lakers have arguably like one of the worst general managers to ever be in that position. I don't 100%. Know that Pelinka can read English. Like he makes so many boneheaded moves, and like it's hilarious watching them. No. We're gonna trade Russell Westbrook, get picks back.
I want to have imagine how much better your life would be if you had Lakers brain, though.
That's fair. Well, I do. The Sixers are winning the title every year.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard about people picking them to like taking like the crazy long odds for them to win the finals. Like a week or two before they were fucking eliminated. Like that's how crazy Lakers like. Yeah, we'll take the 10,000 odds. Like they just got to get in the play-in, and LeBron is going to be LeBron in the like. That's how sick in the head they are.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
They're complete sickos. They're the fan embodiment of Goldfish Brain Tyler Hero.
The best tweet was like Laker, like when a player fucks up on the Lakers, the fans are like, "I'm gonna kill that player." And when a player fucks up on the Sixers, the fans are like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, it's the distinction between Lakers and Sixers brain.
It's so true. It's so true. It's like, I need them to live with the guilt that they knew that I killed myself because
that'll show him.
Couldn't hit a corner three. Like,
that'll show him. My favorite Pelinka story was the one where he like, I think it was with Kobe. he like they had fucked up and guys weren't like buying in, and so he like set them down and like tried to talk to them about Heath Ledger and the Joker, and about like the importance of like getting into your role. And he was like, I had this dinner with Heath Ledger, but then they like people immediately were like, wait, Heath Ledger
is
like,
dead.
Why?
Yeah, no, like he's dead.
Line up, and Pelinka was just like, I fucking got this. This is brilliant. This is gonna work.
Yeah, no. Like he like told a story like 2 years after Heath Ledger was dead, and was like, me and Heath were just grabbing dinner the other night.
4-point game.
Shit.
Wow, 4-point game, 6 minutes left.
Wow.
I will say this much about the Bucks. They very much, and this is the thing that I talked about, and I know it's boomer shit, and I know it's stuff that like, but like they just don't go away in a way that is like, I commend them. Like they're just like, hey, like the Celtics have been the much better team this game, and it's still a game because they're just like a pain in their dogs, is what I'm trying to say. And Drew, that's a clear path foul. That's a clear path foul, 100%. If that's a clear path foul, that's 2 and the ball.
So is Connaughton more powerful because Sinn Féin is about to reunify Ireland, or is his like landlord status? Is he like a loyalist? He seems like maybe I don't know. I can't figure that out.
No, he's definitely not. I mean, I don't think that Pat Connaughton has ever. He doesn't even think that politics exist in Ireland. He's like, he doesn't understand that concept. Also, like, I love
all Pat Connaughton knows is wake up, buy half of downtown Easton, Pennsylvania, show up at practice, put up 3 shots, and go home and go to bed.
Twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip. It's a reference to a video about Bernie. All right, Tatum, just put him up 6. I just gotta say, like, if you're looking at both teams here, like the Celtics are coming up and they have Jason Tatum initiating their offense, and then the Bucks have Drew Holiday, who I love dearly. But if he's initiating your offense, it's basically like Tobias Harris initiating your offense down the stretch of these games. Like it's not an ideal situation. You want a Jason Tatum, a James Harden, even a Jimmy Butler. Like Drew is just not an initiator, dude.
Mm-hmm. This is a piece of Jeff trivia. I had one of the Celtics in class when I was in graduate school. I taught one of the Celtics in my class. Matt Ryan. Current roster. Matt Ryan, two-way player. Wrote a
like the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. That's crazy.
This white dude, Matt Ryan, on the Celtics bench, wrote about
they have another white guy named Matt Ryan on the bench. Oh my god, they're amazing. I do think that it's funny. I do think that it's funny that the Celtics, they still have the white guys, but they're like, they're gonna be the mascots, which is very appropriate. I mean, their mascot is literally an Irish guy, so it makes
they've become Duke University.
They're very deep in terms of having so many white guys. Like their white guy depth is pretty, like Stauskas,
unbeatable.
This guy on a two-way, Pritchard,
Sam Hauser.
Incredible.
They're unbelievable. Also, it is painful that Udoka is clearly a pretty good head coach and that we had him in house. And we're just like, nope.
But he's also the most like Celtics kind of head coach where it's like tough love, like
personal responsibility coach.
Everybody worked really hard and then it worked out because everybody's and like the Sixers are just like such a front runner.
It's
would
true.
like never
good
work
point.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually that's a very good point.
Which I hate. I hate that about the Celtics, but like they play by the rules and work really hard, and they're a good team.
It's true.
Fucking suck.
It is true. Yeah. Like they have a bunch of bet on yourself guys.
Yeah.
Like Jaylen Brown, 100% bet on himself.
Yep.
Grant Williams, unfortunately, bet on yourself guy.
Marcus Smart bet on himself so much that he went back to college. By the way, Drew Holiday just shut me up. Cut the lead to 2 with 4 minutes left. I cannot believe the Bucks. The Bucks are the most insane team ever to me, dude. They literally will look like total shit for 90% of a game and then make it a game at the end. It makes literally no sense to me.
This is like
theory, they're very bad.
It's like their whole season in one game. They're just like, we
don't care until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it does help when you have the best player in the world.
Oh shit!
What?
Stuff the piss out of Al Horford.
Yeah, that was out on Al Horford, by the way.
Yeah.
They didn't call it out on Al Horford.
When they call it now, it's feeling like a Bucks win.
Nah, it's not.
Feeling like a
Celtics have better closers, dude.
I don't know.
Also,
watch
because his comment's been on the board for I feel like 15 minutes, Mike Budenholzer is never getting fired.
Yeah, I think they would just let him run out his contract.
Same.
He would have to like put up like 3 lottery seasons in a row. Because like, have they?
He's also a good regular season coach.
Yeah.
Now, why would you like? Who are you gonna get?
Yeah, he's also like what? That's the only other.
Darvin
like,
Ham
him and
seems to be a
Kareem.
pretty good assistant, but yeah.
Like that was the last time the Bucks won something was with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, they're never firing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, I feel like somebody like Bud is like it's like a margin. That's margin shit, and it's like you already have the engine, right? And it's like
you have Giannis. It doesn't matter. It's like if they were healthy, they'd win this series, and that's kind of why I'm not really freaking out about the Sixers. Is because like I feel like if Joel was 100% and he played the first 2 games, we steal one, and then last night, even if we lose, like we have 2 shots to win, and like it's like to me, I don't think you can overreact too much to a playoffs unless it's like you're already at the end of your road. You're the Jazz this year. You're the Sixers last year. You've tried for 3, 4, 5 years, and it hasn't really figured itself out. Like, I don't think you can overreact too much to like one playoffs or like one, even everyone's freaking out about the Nets. And I'm like, the Nets are going to be fine. They have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and a bunch of picks and salary and they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
This is the thing that's like, I feel like the process brain, one of the like directions that process brain took people was this like fetishization of margin moves.
Yes.
It's like, that's the only important thing. And it's like, no. And like, that's why they love Morey too. Cause he like works the margin, but it's like, no, the important thing is like figuring out your engine and then getting the margin moves right.
Of course.
Right. And so like,
it just so happens that we have a very unreliable engine from a health standpoint.
Yeah. Totally. But like, it's like moving forward, I think Harden and Embiid, like that's your core and Maxey. Right. And then it's like, okay, now you have to get depth and you have to put stuff. But the hard thing is, Morey always says is like getting that centerpiece. Right. And it's like,
of course,
people being like, oh, we're losing because we don't have like the glue guy. It's like, that's asinine. We're losing because Joel's hurt. Right. Like that.
Exactly. We're losing because Joel's hurt. And like, maybe I'm lying to myself, but like, I think that Harden will be better next season.
I agree. Harden's hurt. He's hurt for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like.
It would have made me feel a lot better if any of them could make a fucking pass all night long yesterday, though.
Yeah.
Like, how many times did I watch the ball just hit Tobias in the hands? He bobbles it and blows the whole play up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they have to, like, settle on the B shot. Like, that pissed me off so much. Like, so many plays were getting, like, blown up because nobody could make the right pass and nobody could catch the ball.
Yeah. By the way, Bucks just had like 4 shots and could not cut the lead to 2.
This is not good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Celtics just have better closers, man.
Oof.
Bobby Portis should not be getting out rebounded by Al Horford.
Oh my God, how did Al Horford just do that? How is this man the same man?
He moves so much faster just up and down the court than
was he injured that season?
People said he was, yeah.
He must have been.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Why did they pay him if he was injured? That's insane.
That's so
we started off that season 8-0.
Yeah.
5-0, I believe.
Quickly fell apart.
Yeah. The Furkan Korkmaz shot in Portland. All I remember.
The one burned into my brain. I remember I was in grad school and like watching a game to avoid writing a paper or something, and it was the Hawks Sixers game in like January of that season, and it was just like the most spiritless, depressing, but also like talking yourself into them, like because you'd seen them crush the Bucks at Christmas or something like that.
Of course, yeah.
The Christmas Bucks game.
Remember,
They're gonna flip the switch.
The craziest thing about that season was that they had the best home record in the NBA. They lost like 2 games at home or something insane. Like that is
crazy.
That's actually exactly right, because I was at both of those games, and those were, I think, the only 2 games I went to that season.
You went to both the losses?
I went to 3 actually, and they won the last one, but I was home on winter break, and it was like, went with my family to see them play Miami. They lost, and then like I forget who. Oh, they played Dallas like without Luka, and just came out. Like, super.
Oh yeah, I remember that game. The Porzingis went off.
Porzingis went off, and they
I was
lost.
at the bar and was like, "How is this happening?"
Yeah, all my friends were texting me like, "Please do not go to this next game that you have tickets to. Like, you're ruining it." That was the
Tim Hardaway Jr. hit like 7 threes.
His finger in the middle of the game, and they just like snapped it back together. And was like, "Oh, there you go, you're good."
Unbelievable. I mean, here's the thing, like, Bobby Portis, come on, dude. Giannis shooting above the break threes. Oh, he made it. Giannis is it. After we talked shit on Giannis shooting threes, I think he's hit 2 since then, and he has 40 points. Jesus.
That's outrageous, dude.
Doesn't even like touch the ball with corner.
But that's the thing. I was literally just about to say something, and I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. And I was going to say, as amazing as Giannis is, I think he's the best 2-way player in the world. And it's just crazy to me that you can't. Oh, Bobby Portis.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why didn't he dunk it?
Dunk it. That's his Ben.
Bobby Portis, you're 6'10".
But he's also a former New York Knick. And that doesn't wash out. You play for the Knicks, it never goes away.
Oh,
no, stop giving the ball to Bobby Portis. Yes!
Whoa.
Drew just hit a 3. Tie game. Giannis is bleeding on his face.
Blood running down his face.
Wow.
Also,
if they win this game, that's a fucking that is a narrative that boomers are gonna eat.
Ever since you said the Celtics
that's allowed.
I'm pretty sure like Jason Tatum's missed every shot he's taken.
I literally said the Celtics have better closers and they have not made a single shot down the stretch. And I have to say, the Bucks are dogs, dude. They got dogs. The Celtics have hoopers. They have singular dog in Marcus Smart. They don't have multiple dog. The Bucks have multiple dogs.
Dude,
they have
like
Bobby
Jaylen
Portis.
Brown kind of has that dog, though.
He does have a little bit of dog in him, I gotta say, but he's kind of a Hooper dog crossover. He's kind of Air Bud-ish for sure. Yeah.
Who is Air Bud-ish?
Jaylen Brown. Someone said that Cash from Pound the Rock said that about Tobias when I said he was a Hooper and a dog in the first few games of the Miami series. He said he's like Air Bud right now.
Oh my god.
Which is so good.
Well, dude, Trill,
Tyson and Time Lord are dogs, though.
Yeah.
True,
I'll
but
give
Time
them both
Lord's not
that.
playing, and Tice is like playing spot minutes. Tice is a
Trill,
little bit of a dog.
22 is a dog, though.
I don't know that Tice. I like Tice, but I don't know if he's a dog.
I don't think he's a dog.
He
I
is
don't
like
think he's a dog.
he's the only small center to me
Yeah.
that is absolutely just completely unafraid of guarding Joel Embiid.
Well, true.
He might get cooked by Joel,
Peyton
but he's not
Pritchard's
afraid.
not really in the rotation as much, but he's kind of got a little bit of dog in him. He's more of a hooper. He's got a little bit of dog in him for sure.
A little bit.
Pat Connaughton has dog in him, though, dude. I gotta say.
Yeah, like landlord setting the dog on you to evict you. Connaughton is Connaughton. He's good.
Oh, they fouled him.
He could have been the savior of the Baltimore Orioles though, and he decided to be a landlord and bench player for the Bucks instead.
Okay, someone's saying Tice is not a dog. He's fiery, but he's not a dog. That's a good way to put it.
Oh my god.
Robert Williams does have dog in him, but he's also not playing. Also, yeah, that was definitely a foul. Good call.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis being in this game is crazy to me, dude. This guy's a bozo.
I like Portis. He's like one.
I do like Portis, but he should not be closing games.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Right.
Yeah, but Brooke. When was the last time Brooke was even in? Did something?
No,
Brooke is playing like not a lot of minutes tonight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, he's only played 20 minutes the whole game.
Yeah, he struggled.
Yeah.
If he can't hit threes, like.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely been cheeks, but
yeah, only scored 2 points the whole game. Only got 3 rebounds too in 20 minutes.
But once again, Tatum hits both of his free throws. Milwaukee doesn't take the timeout. Giannis coming up the court. Don't spoil it for me if you're ahead.
No, I'm where you are.
I'm behind, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm behind as well.
Giannis just fell. Did they turn the ball over, or was that a foul?
Foul.
Yeah, it's a foul.
Foul?
Yeah.
No, he just fell.
Now Grant, I mean he fell, but yeah, Grant
maybe if they
catches his arm.
I would challenge that.
Foul, yeah.
Where's the foul? Challenge that.
The arm.
Yeah,
right?
they'll say it's the arm.
Him grabbing the shoulder.
That is not a good call. All right. 21
No, it's a bit of a
seconds
weak
left on my
foul,
screen.
but I can see why you were trying to get it.
Yeah. Oh, Giannis missed it, but they called the foul.
Man, I gotta say, from talking, one of my best buddies is a Celtics guy. Experiencing this series through him, and Giannis just plowing through dudes and getting all the calls. Insane. I would lose my mind.
Absolutely lose my mind. And I understand the irony because we have Joel Embiid and James Harden.
But yeah, my friend he was like. He thinks Joe gets a soft whistle, which whatever. But Giannis just drives through dudes.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah,
he just moves so much faster than Joe.
I mean, Giannis, Tatum, and Embiid all get Tatum doesn't get a great whistle, but he fouls on literally every play. He pushes off more than most. Giannis and Tatum on their drives push off a ton.
I mean, they do,
and they're not going to call it because they're stars, and that's fine.
And they're hard to call, right? Joe similarly, it's refs. It's difficult to figure out how to call a dude who is constantly.
It's weird that Embiid gets soft calls all the time, and he gets the Chris Paul fouls, the rip throughs, the whatever. But then he'll get punched in the face in the post, and they don't call it. It's a strange dynamic where they'll call these ticky-tack calls, and he'll get a lot of those. Which is just undeniably true, but then also he'll get punched in the face, and it's no, we're not going to call that ever.
It seems it seems like there's consensus about how they call top dudes like that, where they're just
of course, yeah.
This is what you do, and this is what you don't do.
I think most guys are going to get a good whistle that are stars unless they have a finesse game. And if you have a finesse game, you can't really bitch about that. That's your game. You're not physical. And Giannis makes the first free throw, and it's so weird. He's such a bad free throw shooter, but in these big moments, he seems to at least, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but he at least seems to make a decent amount. 14 seconds left. We're in the Giannis era. And
I said this
he misses the second. They got the rebound, and Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis, who I literally have been talking to. True bro, dude, just jinxed. Giannis missing his second free throw, And Bobby Portis,
Oh, Bobby.
literally I've been shit talking
that,
about how
dude.
he shouldn't be on the court.
He's got that dog in him. Got that
He's got
dog
the
in him.
goggles on,
He
dude.
does. He goggles Bobby.
Yeah.
Every player that wears goggles, goated immediately.
I think
Oh,
Bobby
love it.
rules because he's like country as hell. I love
Also,
country.
That's
dudes.
why Otto Porter
I agree.
started to suck. He got lay safe and got rid of his goggles.
No, I agree. I do
Brewer,
think
also
there's an
country
edge to the country guys for sure.
There's a weirdness too. There's like a weirdness where you're like you didn't like come up through like the trainer, like professional trainer thing, and your like game is sort of janky.
Yeah. No, he's
look weird.
absolutely has a backwoods game. Is he
Yeah.
from Arkansas?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. He plays like a guy from
Portis,
Arkansas.
weirdly, Portis is like an old Arkansas name. Charles Portis, great Arkansas
Hey, yeah.
fighter.
He
Oh,
grew up
really?
in Little Rock.
Yep.
There you go.
As did
The
Charles.
city that never sleeps.
Bitch on
As
Bill
they say.
Clinton. Yeah. All right. So please, if you're watching this on cable, don't spoil this for me. I'm watching on YouTube TV. I'm probably 5 seconds behind you. So
I'm also on YouTube TV.
Also on YouTube. TV.
I'm at 11.4. They're about to inbound. the
Yeah,
ball.
so I'm like,
That's why I am too.
I am online.
I just got a DM from someone.
here.
I have
Right.
information that will lead to Al Horford's arrest. Oh, Marcus.
Send it
Smart.
my way.
Oh,
DM me.
bro!
Oh my god.
Oh my
bro.
god! Are you fucking kidding me, dude? No way. He did not just block that and then throw it off him. No.
like the goat Matisse Thybulle.
No way he just did that.
You mean our big trade chip for Jordan
The
Clarkson?
Celtics are going to lose this game?
Start the steal by
The
inflating.
Celtics dominated this game for 3 quarters.
Yeah, incredible. Which I mean,
The inverse of last game.
right? Yeah.
It's an incredible block by
Yo,
Jordan.
Drew is a dog.
Yeah,
dude.
that's
That is
so
an
fucking
incredible
sick,
block.
dude.
My bad, Drew. Sixers legend. I cannot believe Drew Holiday right now, dude. Amazing.
Were the Sixers in the running when he was getting traded from New Orleans? Like I know it was like a popular thing.
Yeah,
on
we
Sixers.
definitely were. I think the package would have been similar to what Milwaukee sent, but it would have been Horford. It would have been like Horford and a bunch of picks, and probably the pick that we used on Maxey. Honestly, like I love Drew, but like Drew wasn't doing shit for that team last year, and it's easy to say it now, but like Drew's kind of in a perfect situation for him when Middleton's healthy, especially.
Yeah.
Like I think that I think Drew's an amazing player, and I think that he's like probably a similarly tiered player of like the current version of James Harden.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, like I don't know. Like giving up a decade worth of picks is easier to do when you have Giannis, who you know is going to be healthy and like
and
on a
around
Supermax and like
in Milwaukee,
it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
That's
it is fun though to think about like what did it like assuming everything else stays the same, I guess. Like what a Sixers core of like this version of Drew, this version of Harden, and this version of Embiid would look like. I feel like would be very,
very good. Very
good and very fun to watch. Still would have no wings, which apparently we're allergic to now instead of backups.
Well, I mean, we still also. Well, I mean, you'd have Harden, so I was going to say the creation wouldn't be great, but you'd have Harden, so you'd be fine. I mean, and this version
power
of Tobias
forward James Harden
has been good. Like, what's that?
Yeah, power forward James Harden.
Yeah,
there you go.
We're gonna get Brad Beal and also Isaiah Thomas. We're gonna run James
3
Harden
seconds or 6 seconds left. Celtics down 3. Marcus Smart running the ball up 3. Drew stole it again.
Wow.
No way! How did the Bucks steal this game?
Told you. Felt like a Bucks win.
Man, the Celtics fucking
Bill Simmons shitting and pooping and also crying.
The Bucks, I'm not even exaggerating right now. The Bucks might have just won the NBA Finals in the last 3 minutes of this game. Like,
I'm not going that far.
I mean, if Middleton comes back next round,
is he supposed to?
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Now he might come.
I
now
haven't kept up with that. I thought he was done for the year.
No, he's he should be able to come back.
I mean, Nyla said earlier today that he might come back next, like Game 6, like Drew.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
They were talking Game 6 and Game 7 of this series.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
cannot
cannot believe the Bucks just won that game.
Doing fucking actual work.
I cannot believe that, dude. That was literally insane.
What? How far were they down when they made that comeback? They were down like.
They were
14 points,
they ever
I think,
down
the
more than
worst.
14?
14, 15.
Does anyone know?
Yeah, I think
'Cause
14 was what they were
Yeah.
at the most. I think. Yeah.
Dude, that was Drew Holiday took over at the end of that game. I'm genuinely shocked.
And the Celtics led by 6 or 8 at half, right? Like they led most of the game.
I mean, they were up 14. I think it was like 7-ish minutes left in the game, maybe 8. So I turned it on. They were up like, maybe actually no, it was like 10 or 9 or 10. Because I turned the game on. There was like 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth, and there was like they had, I think Peyton Pritchard hit that stupid fucking like step back mid range J to put them up 14, and then from there the dogs came out.
Dude,
That's right.
that was crazy, man. Drew Holiday. That play that he had on Giannis or on Marcus Smart was like, that was like chase down block. Like that was like iconic shit. And the irony of it is that Marcus Smart is defensive player of the year. And Drew, who, by the way, I do think that like one of the things that gets underrated, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, I've talked about it just in general, is like players' opinions of other players. And like the fact that every player felt like Joel Embiid should have been the MVP this year, I feel like that matters.
Yep.
And I feel like when players were saying DeMar DeRozan is good, people should have listened.
Yeah,
I feel like when players like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard and the best guards in the NBA were like Kevin Durant, they were like, Drew Holiday is the best on-ball defender in the league. Like he's the best like guard defender we have. I feel like that shit matters more than like whatever Nate Silver says or like whatever. I don't know. This isn't even Jokic slander. Like Jokic is amazing, but like it just matters more than what Kevin Pelton thinks. Like Kevin Pelton has never played in the NBA. Why should his opinion matter more than what Steph Curry says? Like,
I think there's also a lot of truth to the fact that, like, why does Bill Simmons get to determine how much money a guy makes?
It's insane. It's
Yeah.
legitimately
That's crazy.
insane. It's crazy as fuck. And like, I think that those are stupid rules. And I can't believe the players union would agree to that. Like, why would the players union ever agree to like, hey, here are some journalists that have personal biases and like could potentially, and like, I even think that like we should get rid of the accolades thing. Like I think that you should be able to just pay like you should just be able to pay a player whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Trell, have you ever heard of the blockchain? I think it's this interesting new technology that might be able to solve.
It actually had a great day today.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put my entire savings into this thing based on that description that you.
Today's the day to do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've heard it's at an all-time low right now. You got to buy. It's like the emo band from the like late 2000s. All-time low.
I'm taking off. It's been fun.
Oh, Chill Stable guy posted an all-time low tweet today that fucking blew my mind.
Well, he posted a lot of
where it was like all-time low apparently owns a bar in Baltimore that the entire like art direction for the bar is Pokemon erotica.
That's hilarious.
All-time low, the emo pop pump.
Yeah, that's their bar in Baltimore is like Pokemon erotica all over the walls.
That rocks.
It's
Jokic and Jared Allen would probably love it.
Miltank, like they're not even being subtle about it.
That's incredible.
I mean, I have to say, someone just retweeted my Drew Holiday going 5 for 21 Harden going 6 for 15 harassment versus flirting thing. It's still true. It's still true.
It is.
Drew, I love Drew Holiday. It's never been an anti-Drew Holiday thing. It's how the media covers Drew Holiday and how when he has a dog shit game, it doesn't matter. What do you
Hold on. Alert. Jordan Poole not starting.
Who's starting? Looney?
Jonathan Kuminga, baby. Fuck you.
Oh,
Your boy.
Not good at all. So I don't really understand
Jonathan.
Why do we all just have collective brain poisoning? Why do we think Jonathan Kuminga is good?
Because he's
I don't know enough about Jonathan Kuminga.
Jonathan
He's a
Kuminga is
Jersey
not
boy.
literally the last time Kuminga started in this series, they were getting crushed because he sucked. And then they had to put him to the bench.
He's one of the Garden State's finest.
Oh, cool. He just got posted up and scored on. He's not good. Like, he might be good in 3 years, but this version of Jonathan Kuminga sucks. Like, I don't know why everyone pretends like he's good.
I think people just like calling him the cum bucket.
Which is,
to be fair, that's a dope-ass nickname.
Very good. Sure, I want to circle to your point on like the Drew Harden thing. I think it is also like a more Harden thing is like Jason Tatum went like what 10 for 30 tonight.
Yeah,
like,
very, very
inefficient. No one's gonna. I highly doubt tomorrow that we see like a lot of coverage on Jason Tatum shot them out of that game.
Of course, yeah. Well, Jason Tatum, his stat lines look like concert tour dates, and it's like, yeah, okay, all right. No. Look, it's easy to get jokes off on Harden because he's James Harden, and he should be held to a higher standard than Drew Holiday. But my point with that tweet was like the Sixers were amazing until last night offensively with James Harden on the court, and like he was getting zero credit for it. It was very strange. It's very strange that like the media loves Ricky Rubio, and like James Harden is literally like, what if Ricky Rubio was like an all-star level player, and everyone's like, this guy fucking sucks because he used to be much better, and he's also has a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
I believe that's called racism.
There we go.
No, but you know what? Like, it's
anytime anyone hates on Harden, I'm calling them racist.
Like, people have very selective memories. I mean, and we all kind of do. You can't like always like balance all this, like all these things in your mind all the time. But like, I think for a lot of people, like the playoff choker thing, I think came from like when he had like 12 turnovers in Game 5 against like Golden State. But what even I forgot though, because I looked up like, well, what does Harden like? I went on StatMuse and I was like, well, what is Harden in elimination games? And literally the game before that, he had 45 points, and that was also an elimination game.
Right,
but no one remembers that.
Right,
of course. Well, I mean, honestly, the two best games of Harden's career were Game 3 and 4 when they were down 0-2 to the Warriors, and he scored like 40 points in each game. And Chris Paul had the hamstring injury, and no one remembers that. Like, I do think that I think there is something to like Harden struggling in big games and elimination games specifically, but also like James Harden being one of the best basketball players of all time, and like being in situations that weren't always the best for him compared to like going up against the Golden State Warriors, who we would all agree, even without Kevin Durant, were like the greatest basketball team since the 96 Bulls.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sorry, if you don't win in that West, that's fine.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, there was also like, that was also during the time where like every finals basically for what, like
5 years.
5 years was like either it was the Warriors versus LeBron, or the Warriors were just going to like, it was a given that they were going to win. Like
what that was like him and Dwight Howard and Josh Smith.
Yeah.
Those teams like weren't good.
Yeah.
The Chris Paul years, they were good. The biggest fault of Harden is not on the court stuff. It's the off the court stuff. It's not getting along with any of his star teammates. That's the biggest knock on Harden, and that's a legitimate one. And that's why I'm worried about Joel Embiid and James Harden. Like, in 2 years from now, if this shit's still happening, is like, are we gonna have to trade Joel because we have Harden locked up and we can't move his contract? Like that's the kind of situation that I'm talking about. Like it's not like I'm not worried about the on the court stuff as much as the off the court stuff.
Fair. I think there's always going to be like an Oklahoma City Thunder though. Like maybe not them. Well, it might be still them. I think Sam Presti just he wants to draft an entire class top to bottom.
It would be great. I'd love it. I'd love it just because I would make people mad. It would be funny.
Yeah. But there's always going to be a team I feel like that's like, okay, if you like this contract sucks, but like you have to attach something. Like if you give us 2 picks, like fine, we'll take him. And even though this is going to be like an albatross, like we'll do it because we're getting these picks, and it, like that's the only way that we can build is either through trades.
Would Morey quit before he traded Harden? Is the question.
What?
Would Morey quit before he had to trade James Harden? Is the question.
Yeah, like would he resign and go work for?
That
I don't know, Goldman Sachs or whatever, doing like stock analysis. Isn't that what Hinkie does now?
Well, he works. Yeah, no.
Yeah, doesn't he like work for Goldman Sachs now?
Before Ball was more toned down, I did make a joke about him designing prison cells for migrant children or something like that. Like, I don't think that his job is incredibly moral, but I also don't think that it's like it's one of those jobs where like you don't understand what he does, kind of thing. Like,
who's that again?
Sam Hinkie. Like no one really knows what he does, and those are the kind of jobs that I look at and I'm like, these are incredibly immoral jobs for sure. Yeah. Like if we don't know any information about them, like who's investing in what. And by the way, I don't approve of any of these jobs. I'm just saying, just generally speaking, like if I don't know anything about your job, I'm going to look at it and be like, why can't you tell me more about your job? Oh, we invest in like some technology. And I'm like, all right, well, technology could also be like fucking drones and like horrible things like Kevin Durant has invested in.
I mean, I think it's very telling that Sam Hinkie went with the full like supervillain look after he left the Sixers with the beard and the shaved head.
Yeah.
He just looks like an old supervillain. So, you know, this probably has something to do with it, but
this guy. All right, Roof. I know who you are, by the way. It's funny because people think that their YouTube names will throw me off from who they really are on Twitter. Free yourself of Harden defense. I'm not. Hey, Harden's been good for the Sixers. Has he not been?
Yeah.
If anything, I'd argue that he's been so good with Joel as teammates that he hasn't entered the Harden step back asshole mode, and that's been deleterious for the Sixers thus far.
He's the only time he ever does is when we're trailing by a large amount.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I gotta chuck my way back into this game. And at that point, it's like no one's doing anything anyway. By the way, I don't want to. This is not Joel Embiid slander. We looked better with Paul Reed in the game yesterday because he was just like a healthy human being who could move up and down the court.
And he's got that dog in him.
He does. I was thinking about this. I was listening to a pod today, and it did get me thinking that, like, I think one of the biggest Sixers issues is not, like, talent necessarily, but, like, we don't have, like, a dog guy, and I hate that I've become, like, immediately dog-pilled, like, just entirely.
Did you just watch that Bucks game? The Bucks just won with dog in them.
Yeah, but we don't have really any guy who's like that in the starting lineup. So when the starting lineup's not good, I wouldn't say like who can't do it. Like I think like Maxey has like a mentality to get there, but like he's just not.
Tobias, honestly, this version of Tobias has had a little bit of dog in him for sure.
He has too, but like he's not like gritty enough or like, and like it doesn't have to be Paul Reed. Even though I'm team, Paul Reed is the starting power forward next year. Absolutely.
Got to be an all-star.
He probably will be.
He's never lied to me before.
Having a wing that just will like go up, like get rebounds, like jump at, like, do like what Joel did yesterday, like dives out of bounds, like should not have ever done that, but like did it anyway. Like having a wing guy who will do that, I think is like important to this team because like no one else is really like is either able to do that like physically and like impact the game that way, or like the guys who can like just don't. Like I don't want Joel throwing his body all over the floor. Like he's a relatively fragile NBA player. Like Tobias can, but like he's not really athletic enough to do it. Like Maxey can, but he's not big enough to do it. Danny Green.
Also, I think Tobias has a little bit of like an aesthetic. I think Maxey and Tobias both have like an aesthetically, like their approach to basketball is aesthetically pleasing. Like they want to like get buckets and they want to like they don't want to die for loose balls. They don't want to be the guys that are like boxing out and doing whatever. It's not a part of everyone's game, but at the same time, like you do need to have guys that will do the grind, the guys who will do the dirty work. And I do think there is something to that, like just having guys who will set screens and guys who will. By the way, I just want to point out, Jonathan Kuminga was not good at all. Again, for some reason, we're pretending he's good because Thomas Bryant said he was a better prospect than Jordan Poole on the first fucking episode of NBA is Drunk, even though it's not even remotely close. Jordan Poole is going to be an all-star in like 2 years. And Jonathan Kuminga has only just shown flashes of being tall and athletic. And I just want to say, going back to the dog conversation, is like, I think that some teams have too many dogs. They rely too much on the dog. Like the Grizzlies have a lot of dogs, but they don't.
Grizzlies are top to bottom dogs.
You need a balance of the dog, the hooper, and the basketball player.
Yes.
You need a little bit about, and that's why I was so high on the Celtics team, because I felt like they all had a little bit of dog in them, they had a little bit of hooper in them, and they all had a little bit of basketball player in them. And ultimately, the Bucks were in the Giannis era, so you know.
Well, it's also, I think when you talk about a team with too many dogs, like I feel like, you know, I don't want to give any credit to the Toronto Raptors because they don't deserve it. But like that's a team where it's like, all right, you got just a bunch of guys who are athletic, who are just long. Like that's all they're gonna do is like the grit work. Like, aside from like kind of Gary Trent Jr., kind of Fred VanVleet, like they don't have. Yeah, they don't really have other players. And I think it's, you know, you made a great point with like with like Maxey and Tobias, like focusing their game on like being aesthetic, like. That's super. I think that's all. Like it's like you said, that's super important. Like to have like guys who can like just go out and get buckets. It's super important to have guys who are going to be smart on the court. But like the Sixers, I think one of their biggest issues is like they don't have a true rotation guy right now, or at least like I feel like at least should be the first guy off the bench, if not like a guy in the starting lineup who's just gonna like do those little things that are like just consistent winning plays that like maybe don't show up on the score on the box score.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And I think that Tobias has made marginal improvements in that department.
Yes.
Like he's boxing out more, he's fighting for rebounds, he's getting into passing lanes, he's doing the things that you would expect a winning player to do, but ultimately he is like he's like a fake star. Right. Like that's like his role. He's never been a role player.
Right.
And like the reason why they'll probably trade him after the season is because like you can't pay your fourth best player $40 million.
Right.
Like you just can't do it. Like you need to, like you'd be better off trading Tobias for a guy who makes $13 million and maybe opens up your full MLE so you can get a $10 million player. And it's not even to say that Tobias, even this version of Tobias who's been fantastic, like it's not to say that he is a bad player. It's to say that like you need guys who are going to do, when you have two legitimate stars and one rising star, you need guys who are willing to do the things that star players don't want to do and they shouldn't have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I totally agree with that. I have to go to the bathroom, but I'll be right back. I do want to keep streaming. If anyone has to leave at any point, I will not be affected.
I just gotta tell you guys, I'm being fucking cooked tonight. I'm being fucking demolished tonight.
I had the fucking Al Horford thing. I have the Kuminga thing. And then I go see that I'm getting raked over the fucking coals for Tua now. This is a fucking disaster.
I think I called you out on that too.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
fucked
Someone
up.
did make the good point that you're not like, are you not a Tua guy?
I cried tears of joy when he was drafted. I was sobbing.
That's fair. I like Tua.
I was in tears because
Tua.
It's the only time I've ever watched the NFL draft and been happy. Every other year
I sent that and then I immediately felt bad. It was like, my quarterback is Jalen Hurts. Like, I don't know that he could throw a better pass than that. And like, probably his deep ball is worse. So like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah,
but
he's got a titanium hip. You know,
yeah,
it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit to get a little power behind that. You got to have a little faith.
Yeah, no, I think they'll be fine this year. I actually have a Luke Falk Miami Dolphins jersey, for obvious reasons. So, you know, I went to it. I think the weirdest sports like situation I've ever been in is I went to an LA Angels game wearing a Miami Dolphins jersey, and I think they were playing like the Diamondbacks, and a Diamondbacks fan tried to fight me because he thought I was a Dolphins fan. After the game was over, and I'm pretty sure the Diamondbacks won too.
Also, why does the guy who roots for why did the Cardinals have beef with the Dolphins?
I don't
Both
know.
of them are dog shit, dude.
I wish I had answers for you. I really
that's so crazy.
I do not.
My only one of comparable note is I did once get yelled at like this close to my face by a dude who is maybe like 6'3", 280 pounds in the bleachers of Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
He was wearing a children's. This was when Matt Harvey was really popping off for the Mets.
Yeah.
It was a Yankees-Mets like Subway Series game, and he had like a children's Party City Batman mask on that was like cutting his face because he was so much larger than that was designed for, and he was yelling at me this close to my face, telling me that the Mets were Gotham's reckoning and the Yankees were never going to win anything ever again.
That's incredible. That's way better. What do you mean? That's not even comparable at all. Yours is way better.
They called it the Subway Series as an ode to Subway Jared.
Oh my god!
Oh boy!
Because New York is filled with perverts.
Hey, you know where did Jeffrey Epstein live?
Upper East Side, I believe.
Manhattan, isn't it?
That's right.
Makes you wonder, makes you think.
I lived.
Trill lived in New York, also a criminal.
Hey!
Also,
I can kick you right now, dude. I lived in New York, but I was merely a plebe. I use public.
You're not going to Eyes Wide Shut parties,
dude. I miss New York public transit more than any other. Unfortunately. Of New York.
What's that?
I said I miss New York public transit. I never lived there, but I did work there for a summer and just commuted from Philly, and hated that part. But like just living out here now, like this conversation came up earlier today of just like there's no trains in Los Angeles or anywhere.
There's nothing.
Fucking brutal. I live in Orange County, which is like there's like 4 million people here, and the train from Orange County to Los Angeles on the weekends, not on the weekdays, on the weekends, like where you would think people would be going, runs 4 fucking times a day.
That's crazy.
What part of Orange County are you in?
I am in Costa Mesa.
Okay. I asked because I know like 4 places in Orange County, and I was like, I know Newport Beach. I
live maybe 3 blocks from the Newport Beach border.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
So I'm like right on the other side of
I know Anaheim, Newport Beach. Like I know
Is Rancho Cucamonga in Orange County, or is that in LA County?
What?
Rancho Cucamonga.
No, that's in,
I know them because of the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, and also I'm pretty sure Workaholics filmed there.
I think they did too. No, Rancho Cucamonga is near where I work, which is in like the inlet, like San Bernardino. Very, very bad police people there. They're very
San
highly
Bernardino.
audited.
We only know San Bernardino for bad reasons. So
yeah. Also not just like not a very nice place in general.
That it always blew my mind that like when you go on Wikipedia for like the largest cities in the country, like Irvine is like in the top 20.
It's huge.
It's like enormous, and you would never think
it doesn't have a downtown.
Yeah,
it's fucking part.
Well, that's like San Jose is in the top 10 most populated cities in the country, and no one ever no one would ever be like, oh, San Jose. It's like it has like 1.5 million people, or like 1.2 million people, or something crazy. Like
San Jose is boring.
That always blows my mind that that LA County is so county consolidated.
Yeah.
And then the Bay Area just didn't do that at all.
The Bay Area is just like, fuck it, we're going to have
three
like
totally different cities that all like basically rely on each other to function.
Yeah, it's really strange. California is a very strange place. Like every time I go to California, I'm like, it's beautiful and like
it's nice. It's just
perfect weather, but it's just like every time I go there, I'm like, I described it as last time I was there. I feel like they built, when I went to LA a few months ago, I was like, I feel like they built a vacation resort over the course of suburbs is how I described it.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah. Like I was in Culver City and I was like, this is just such a strange place. And it's very nice. It's just strange. Like I never have been like, I feel at home here. Like I'm like, I feel like I'm visiting somewhere else that is a vacation resort, but over the course of suburbs.
Yeah, there are good suburbs that like feel more like they actually have people that know their neighbors. But like, Orange County is not general. At least where I've lived is not that kind of place.
Yeah,
and LA is weird because it's like so like the county is the whole city and it's so big that just like multiple downtown spots pop up and like it doesn't make any like when I lived in LA like I lived there in I lived there for like a summer like on an internship and like it just like I was like I lived there for 3 months. I think I went to downtown one time and I lived like
no one ever goes.
I lived in LA and like 15 miles away from downtown, like 15 miles in Philly, like and I never lived like outside of Philly before. Like
you're out of the city though. If you're 15
far outside of the city, like
exactly. It's very strange.
In Delco at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You're in Delco or Monco or Chester or one of the surrounding counties. But yeah, it is very strange. This, by the way, I just want to say the Warriors have got back into the game since they benched Jonathan Kuminga, who sucks. Your lineup doing a little bit better because he's significantly better.
Yeah, so I'm being cooked at all fronts. All fronts. Al Horford, Jonathan Kuminga, Tua, like what else? What are you going to tell me? Isaac Bonga is in a nationwide manhunt that he murdered 2 people that I can't love him either. Like who's next?
God.
No, first off, the Sixers sweep the Heat with Isaac Bonga.
Bol getting arrested as part of the Young Thug RICO because he got his spider draft suit from Young Thug.
I will say, and I say this as someone who made jokes about it, and I feel bad about it, but it is funny that like the second that we found out that one of our favorite artists was like potentially going to jail for life, everyone was like, how can I go viral off this? Everyone was like, what's the first quote tweet I could take from Big Business on Twitter and just go viral off of one of my favorite musicians being in prison potentially for the rest of his life.
Trill, can you bring up an image?
Sure.
Need to look at the chat, bring up Daniel's tweet.
Oh yeah,
this is a lot of fun.
Wait, where is?
$15 to get Doc Rivers.
It's in the private chat. It's like that you have $15.
Oh yeah, I see.
You have $15 to build the squad, except this is to get Doc Rivers fired.
All right, hold on.
Avery Bradley's a $5.
Oh, I had a bad
player.
time with this earlier. I confused Terrence Ross and Cory Booker. Or
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
look,
Are we seeing this?
Yeah.
Yes.
They look
It's
kind
so
in
good.
that picture. That looks like Corey Brewer.
Okay, so you have $15 to get Glenn Rivers fired. All right, so what's the worst lineup we can create here? The obvious one is on the top row.
I know. I said Austin Rivers because if you have Austin Rivers on the team, Doc will just abandon it.
Oh, that's a good one. Realistically, though, DeAndre for 5 for sure. I'm taking DeAndre. Carson Edwards is a hilarious inclusion here. Poku. No, Paul Millsap, starting front court of Paul Millsap and DeAndre Jordan for sure. 100%
Who is the
chance.
Who is next to Enes Kanter?
This guy, is that Bismack Biyombo?
No.
No.
I think, is that Czech Diallo?
Yeah, it might be.
It is Czech Diallo. Yeah, that's so
I
fucking
just saw the
funny.
Suns jersey and was like, is that Bismack Biyombo?
Oh yeah, it is Czech Diallo.
Okay, well, I'm taking Terrence Ross for sure. So
Is he
my
even
starting
in the
lineup
league
is
anymore?
all right. Hold on, but now I have very few dollars left because I've spent $12, and then I'll go. My starting shooting guard is Greg Monroe. My starting point guard is Elfrid Payton. So we're gonna go Elfrid Payton, Greg Monroe. So all right, let's switch these two. Let's say Paul Millsap is small forward, Terrence Ross is shooting guard, DeAndre Jordan is center, and Greg Monroe is power forward with Elfrid Payton. Like, just classic Doc guys right there. Hoopers.
60% of this team is like old Sixers backup centers is so depressing.
Yep.
Where's Andre? We need drum god in here.
Okay, but Andre Drummond is
Drummond's
actually
actually
good.
Who is this guy?
Which guy?
Can you see my mouse over the guy next to Boban?
I've
this
been
man?
trying to figure out who that guy is. I know he played for the Kings.
Well, I know who. This is Rodney Hood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This
Rodney
is
Hood.
Kevin Knox.
Yep.
This is Tomas Satoransky, Ben
Mhm.
McLemore, Furkan Korkmaz, Josh Jackson, Greg Monroe, Cantor Diallo, Terrence Ross, Aaron Neesmith, Killian Hayes, Carson Edwards. Who's the man next to Carson Edwards? Who's that?
Is that a Grizzlies jersey?
Yes.
Is that Jared
That's-
Culver?
Mm.
like it's-
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That is Jarrett Culver.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
I
Garrett
forg-
Temple.
Yep.
That's
Which, by
Pope-
the way, does that beard look photoshopped on you or me?
It absolutely does look photoshopped on. Garrett Temple,
Looks
by the
like
way,
he's
you want to hear an insane thing about Garrett Temple? He played with Tyrus Thomas at LSU.
Wait, really?
Google it. I'm fairly certain he played with Tyrus Thomas at LSU. If he didn't, maybe I'm wrong. But I'm fairly certain that he played with Tyrus Thomas.
So, according to our very knowledgeable chat, apparently that's Trey Lyles next to Boban.
Oh,
That's what Trey Lyles looks like?
that is Trey Lyles.
I haven't thought about Trey Lyles in like 6 years.
He's only 26.
Okay.
And he's
So
from
this is
Saskatchewan?
DeAndre. So we got Paul Millsap, DeAndre Jordan. Is that Semi Ojale?
I think it has to be.
Yeah. And then is this Wenyan Gabriel?
Where?
No, that's Ken Bazemore, dude.
Oh, that's Ken Bazemore.
Ken Bazemore.
And then Austin Rivers and Avery Bradley. I know the last two. But
Daniel would never once slander Wenyen Gabriel's name and put him on this list.
Yeah,
we both love Wenyen way too much to hurt him like that. I'm so happy that he's getting minutes. That he gets to rise and shine.
Okay, so can we look up the Tyrese Thomas thing that I just said? Because I think it's true. Did they overlap? Because I'm pretty sure Garrett Temple's like 34. And I'm pretty sure that he played with Tyrese Thomas in college. Or else maybe they were 1 year apart. Because Tyrese Thomas was what, the 06 draft? 05 draft?
He did. He played with Garrett Temple and Baby Davis.
And who? Glenn Baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, Davis. Dude. Think about how insane that is. Like, I feel like Tyrese Thomas has been out of the NBA for 10 years. And Garrett Temple is still in the league, still kicking somehow in New Orleans. How is that possible, dude? I remember watching that LSU team beat Duke when I was like 15, and I'm about to turn 32 next week. That's 17 years ago.
What's crazy is Big Baby Davis is the leading scorer and rebounder on that team. Which feels like that's got to be the last time he's ever done either of those things.
Glenn Big Baby Davis. Baby Shaq.
08 Celtics legend.
Literally, his nickname in college was Baby Shaq, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Big Baby came from that.
Who's the other one?
I don't know.
Gary Trent Sr. Gary Trent Jr.'s dad used to be called the Shaq of the Mac.
I thought you were just going to say he played on that LSU team, and I was like, that does not make any sense.
No, but they call him that, though, because he was like a big, beefy power forward.
Has Damian Lee been getting minutes in this series? Like,
who? Damian Lee? Yeah. No, he's
Drexel University legend, by the way.
Family assistance king. He's getting.
He's the Nasus Antetokounmpo of the Warriors.
The thing is, though, he's the least nepotistic version of that guy. He's not bad.
No,
compared
to the
other guys who were in the league, Yeah, I mean, like he's definitely like. At first, everyone thought that Seth was that guy. They were like, is he really an NBA guy? And then over time, they were like, oh, no, Seth's actually pretty good. And Damian Lee's like a fine fringe rotation player. Yeah. Fine. Totally fine. He's not in the league just because he's like, it's not a Terry Harris situation for sure.
I thought Seth was supposed to be like really hyped up in college.
Well, yeah, but then he didn't even get drafted.
Yeah, this is true.
He did better on
himself. People were like,
I forget where he spent his 4th year, but he did 3 years at Drexel. So, like, how hyped up can you be?
Didn't he play at Louisville? Damian Lee?
I think he ended up at Louisville his senior year.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Did Jordan Poole just get hurt?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, got hit in the face.
Well, luckily they have Jonathan Kuminga to replace him.
Oh my god.
And Moses Moody, who is notoriously not playing.
Moses Moody's better than Jonathan Kuminga.
He's not playing. Wiseman's not playing.
Well, Wiseman sucks.
New Jersey's finest is playing, though. He's starting in a playoff game. In an elimination game.
I really don't even dislike Kuminga. I just like making people mad. So I will be slandering.
Listen,
you like making Parm feel bad about himself?
No, I don't. No, it's not Parm. It's every athletic podcast.
There's not a single basketball player from New Jersey that I'm going to be fundamentally against until they commit a heinous crime. You're gonna have to do something like really shitty for me not to love you.
Fair. That's why you support Karl Anthony Towns no matter what.
Love Cat, love Kyrie. Naz Reid, love him to death. Jaren Jackson Jr.
He's from Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been slandering Jaren Jackson Jr. recently. I apologize. Oh my God!
Springfield's
Someone is
finest,
furiously
Jaren
typing
Jackson
about
Jr.
this. Were you just furiously typing about Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Oh no, that wasn't me.
Someone tweeted about, is Jason Tatum distracted by not winning MVP? And I was just thinking, we just talked about that no one's writing that article.
That's a very funny joke, though. Yeah, no, he's extremely distraught.
True, I do want to say also,
Yeah,
repping, but the fucking pig in the little O on the I Love Slop tee is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a piece of clothing, because I know it was there when I ordered it and I got it. I was like, this is awesome. Like, it's not even like the same, like it's a picture, so there's not a font, but like it's not even the same like resolution as anything.
Pull it up so that people can see it. You can see
Well,
in the O.
Our little guy.
You can see the little pig.
Oh, nice.
It does not look at all like anything else on the shirt. It's just like the funniest fucking part.
Yeah,
Is that
Dewani is
the
genius.
The JPEG that I pulled for Slop Week? Is it the same? Little
It honestly might be. Dewani pulled it. I don't know where she's a mastermind. She might have just popped it from Twitter, but
I love Google Images.
I still think about that burger covered in chili, the slopper. I think we should just like make them.
Make slop
them on
burgers.
stream.
The Slopperita is the thing that I keep from that Netflix show that they
Yeah.
people always tag me whenever they watch that show. They're like, "Hey, do you know about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're like the 100th person who's tagged me." They say slop like 100 times in one scene, so I get it. I understand. Slop season's approaching, by the way.
I feel like it's starting to pick up. The only team that I feel like we've gotten slop about is just like the Jazz. Allegedly want to blow it up around Mitchell and Gobert.
Yeah,
it's like that's not going to work. Like they know that's not going to work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that. I think that they'll probably end up trading Gobert. They'll probably try to build around Mitchell for 2 years and then have to trade him. Like that's kind of like the reality of their situation. Like they don't want to get rid of a guy who is like a marketable star. They've never had one.
Right.
They've never had home. Not even an exaggeration. They've never had a marketable star.
Well, didn't they have
like?
Am I stupid, or wasn't Karl Malone there?
And Stockton.
Is Karl Malone a marketable star? Is John Stockton a marketable star?
I think at the time, like probably.
In a way.
Yeah.
In what way?
Like they were both dream team guys.
They're both very good players.
Like deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, there are bad people who are good players, and
they haven't been marketable since 2002.
But they were at a time where no one cared that they were bad people.
If you think in the 90s, though, like they were not like if you think about the era of 90s basketball, those aren't the first two marketable stars you could think of off the top of your head.
That's fair.
No,
like I'd think about Jordan. I would even think about like the beginning of Iverson. I would think about like I would think about
the end of Magic and Bird too in the early 90s.
Magic, Bird, Hakeem. Like I just think
Ewing.
What's that?
Oh,
like
Pat
Malone,
Ewing. Also more
Patrick Ewing. Like there's plenty of guys from that era who I would get to. Even like Barkley's more marketable than them. Like I think that like they were very good players, but like. Karl Malone has the second most points ever in NBA history, and no one would ever bring him up as like a guy on a sneaker commercial or something.
Every single white frat star of the last 20 years has owned the John Stockton Jazz jersey, though.
Well, there's
like every single one of the worst dude you know has the John Stockton Jazz jersey.
That's a good point, but that's also very motivated by other factors.
But like also Karl Malone, I had to look this up. He wore like Apex shoes. Like,
What is that? I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I don't know either. And I'm just like, and he also wore like LA gear, and
I knew that.
he had to sue them because they like copied the Air Jordan like 4 to give to Karl Malone. Like, so yeah, like they just didn't have it's hard to believe that like all of the things that they lead statistically, and yet they had no real lasting cultural impact.
That is what I was trying to say, is the cultural impact was just never there from that Jazz team. It was just like, it doesn't feel like it was like a
and other than those two, it's like bleak.
What's that?
And other than those two,
Yeah.
it's bleak. Like, I guess you have Kirilenko.
Right.
Was like kind of a big deal for like 2 years.
I mean, who was
3
like
years.
the original analytics starling, right?
Mhm.
He was like, if he were in the NBA right now, people would be arguing for him to win MVP. Like, unironically, they would be like, "Oh, Andre Kirilenko," and I would be like, "Yeah, okay."
Really?
Because
I could see Defensive Player of the Year MVP though.
Andre Kirilenko, hold on.
Was he ever like I don't remember him as a scorer.
He wasn't, but it doesn't matter.
Didn't he ever put? Or wait, no, he had a 5x5, didn't he?
He averaged at his peak. He averaged 15 points a game. So yeah, they probably wouldn't be arguing for him for MVP. But I remember his advanced stats being like off the fucking charts, dude.
Oh yeah, he's a stat sheet stuffer.
Yeah,
he had a BPM of 9.2 one season.
Yeah,
which is like, to put it in perspective, that's like what MVPs have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2004, he had 3.5 blocks, a steal and a half, 3 assists, and 6 boards.
He made one All-Star team in his career.
Points.
He made one All-Star team in his career, and by advanced statistics, he was an MVP level player for 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Emar is going off right now.
What has happened to what has happened to our beautiful sport?
Yeah, no, it's so true.
I agree.
It's the same reason.
Go ahead.
No, you can go.
I was gonna say it. I was gonna just comment on more Jazz slop. Honestly, just talking about like, because I agree with Emar. Like, they should get rid of both of them this offseason when like they're probably at the highest they're gonna be, and like you could probably get like the Hornets. I would think would give up 2 first-round picks for Gobert, who they like desperately need. Like, Gobert on the Hornets,
like TJ Washington.
It's gonna be you gotta Gordo back, dude. You gotta let it.
Gordon comes home
to
the motherland
because like he's washed. Like, he's old. He's a fine player, but like for what they're trying to do, like he's not what they need. And then like Mitchell to anyone, I would say is at least 3 first-round picks, and like most of those should be like, they shouldn't send him anywhere that they can't get like early, like sooner ones, because like I feel
the best prospect they could get for Donovan Mitchell. Like you just put Donovan Mitchell out there, not even talking about draft picks, just talking like prospect, like Shea Gilgeous.
I spent like an hour on the trade machine today, my friends. So
yeah,
would you rather have Mike Conley than Tobias?
Would I rather have Mike Conley? No, not on the current version of the Sixers. No, we have Tyrese Maxey, who's literally better than Mike Conley. So
too many.
I mean, it would depend on like if it's a 1-for-1 swap. No,
I mean, also Mike Conley's
Royce O'Neal maybe make it a little interesting.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
There's a Mike Conley trade that gets the Sixers 12 more wins this year. That
what Mike Conley for Tobias?
That Tobias also leaves, and I need to find it because I went full sicko mode on the trade machine today.
I just think at a certain point, like, are you just gonna have an entire team of guards? Is the question.
It's like wingy guys. But like, the best prospect you could get for Mitchell at this point, like
Tyler Hero, maybe.
I think so, but like I don't know that like the Heat would have to involve someone else who would be willing to give up picks, because the Heat, like if I'm trading Mitchell for Hero, like Hero tops out to me as like the third best player on a contender.
A contender. Yeah, I agree with that.
And like, if that's what you're getting back for a guy who like tops out as the second, like the second best player on the contender and the third best player on the contender, I think is like the biggest gulf in talent, like the biggest gap in talent between those two people.
It's pretty big.
And like, if you're getting, you're trading the second guy, who I think Mitchell could, I don't know if he could be the best guy, but he could definitely be the second guy. You're trading him for the third guy. Like, I would need like multiple first round picks, like that come earlier than 2027.
Yeah.
And like the Heat would have to somehow finagle someone else in. And at that point, I think it gets very complicated.
Okay. So let's say Tyler Hero isn't the best prospect.
You could probably get a shitload of guys from the Hawks.
Yeah, but do the Hawks have anyone that anyone cares about? Like, realistically, if you're rebuilding,
maybe a Kongwu, or maybe you're like one of those people that's like
loves
really
Jalen Johnson.
Loves Jalen Johnson, or like really believes that DeAndre Hunter has just like been on the unfortunate end of a lot of like freak injuries, and that doesn't really mean anything going forward.
He's like 25 though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think DeAndre Hunter's good, but like, I would not trade Donovan Mitchell for any package that was built around like a Kongwu and Hunter, and
you
also Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell would not be workable. Like, that would be a bad situation.
Did you not see that, Peter? Did you not did he not see that tweet? I guess the one that you sent, like, what was it, yesterday?
I don't see any
that of like a Hawks fan wanted a line, like a trio of Ben Simmons, Donovan, and Trae. That was their big
How is
three.
that even possible? Oh, what, you trade John Collins and then you trade everyone else you have for Donovan Mitchell?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, that's not, to me, if I'm the Jazz, like, that's just not enticing.
No,
at all.
I agree with that.
Unless you're sending every first round pick you could possibly send. And even then, like, if that's what the Hawks like top three is, it's like, okay, like you're getting the 27th. Like, it's not useful.
Yeah. Okay. Of this,
the thing with prospects too is like you could trade him to the Magic, but like, why do the Magic want Donovan Mitchell?
But what prospect did the Magic have other than like Franz Wagner?
They'd give him any guy they wanted.
But once again, we're talking about the best prospects. Tyler Hero is a good prospect. He's 21, 22.
Duncan Robinson.
I could see
28-year-old Duncan Robinson.
Hey, he's one of the best
Duncan Robinson
that can't see the floor in the playoffs at all. And they paid him like $90 million.
But I mean, like, I could see like the Clippers, like, but then at the same, because like they have the salary to match, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you have Mitchell, George, and Kawhi, who all
they have no one that the Jazz would care about.
Ooh,
they have no one better than Tyler Hero.
I have an interesting one.
Well, I think they could put like two or three guys together that might, like, if the Jazz care more about relevancy than prospects. Like, if the Jazz go the Kings route,
they shouldn't. They have Danny Ainge.
I agree. I don't think it's a good idea, but I think if the Jazz were to go the Kings route, which is like, let's just try and play for the play-in, which is like insane loser mentality that like is not good, like, for team building.
Danny Ainge is not doing that. That's not his strategy.
That's fair.
What do you think about Sadiq Bey and Killian Hayes? Maybe you throw in a little extra.
I think Sadiq Bey
you obviously
is a
need a little
prospect.
filler for salary.
Would you rather have Sadiq Bey or Tyler Hero? Because I'd rather have Tyler Hero.
I would rather have Tyler Hero.
Even though I think Sadiq Bey is a pretty good prospect.
Yeah.
Or you get, but I don't know who else on the Heat you want.
I don't even care. I'm just talking best prospect. I'm not talking about contracts. I'm not talking about picks. Best prospect.
That kind of though. I mean, Sadiq. So like, if you're the Heat, though, if you have to send Hero to the Jazz, and you're sending Mitchell to the Heat, like, is there a way that works where you're sending Sadiq and Jeremy maybe elsewhere and getting stuff back in for Detroit, where like that might be like the framework for like a 3-team deal there? Because like the issue with like the Hero for Mitchell thing, so I
don't even really think it's an issue if you love Hero as a prospect. I'm not saying they do. I'm saying Tyler Hero is the best prospect we've named, and you can figure out salary filler if you need to. Like, I personally wouldn't trade Donovan Mitchell for Tyler Hero. I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying what's the best prospect you can get? Like, I think Tyrese Maxey is a better prospect than Tyler Hero, but
we're not trade. I don't think you should trade Tyrese Maxey for Donovan Mitchell.
But Tyler Hero is the great white.
The conversation. I don't think I would do it for karmic reasons, and I love Tyrese Maxey too much. And I'm admitting that I think that the highest end outcome for Tyrese Maxey is like kind of what Donovan Mitchell is, and I think that I just wouldn't do it for karma and contract reasons.
That's fair.
So packages are out.
Parm, you go.
Oh, sorry.
No, you
packages are done.
I'm not saying packages
because I think then the answer is Hero, because like the only other guy, like maybe RJ Barrett, if you're
RJ was Barrett the other guy was I thinking of. I would rather have Tyler Hero than RJ Barrett, but yes, that would be in the same conversation.
Yeah, Tyler Hero has to go home to Utah.
Wait, when did the Grizzlies go up 20 points?
This is what the Grizzlies do.
When Kuminga started. What if that would actually be so funny? Like if this was just totally fucked from the beginning. They started Kuminga.
Love you, bye.
All right. Who are the top two leading scorers for the Grizzlies tonight?
Oh my.
Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bane.
Really?
You've hit on Desmond Bane is the leading scorer.
Okay.
Dylan Brooks is not. Dylan Brooks has 11 points.
I assume it was JJJ.
That was the other one.
Also, not Jaren Jackson Jr.
Steven Adams.
Not Steven Adams. It's DeAnthony Melton, baby.
Love him.
Well, literally
Jackson Brent guy, right?
Favorite player of all.
Jackson Frank loves DeAnthony Melton. I know a lot of guys who love DeAnthony Melton coming out of the draft. Drafted by?
I don't know.
Sixers general manager Daryl Morey, who was traded on draft night immediately, though, to the Phoenix Suns. No. Technically drafted by Daryl Morey.
I do want, at this point, just, a little drink check. Because I haven't seen anyone else take a sip in a while.
I've had 4 beers. I'm good.
God.
I had half a bottle of sake and I'm on my 3rd bottle of Douce.
Nice.
Look, dude, this is my first NBA is drunk. I want to make sure I'm showing out.
You got to turn up, dude. I drank liquor too much on the first 2 streams, and then I'm in my 30s.
Oh, no.
So my hangovers were brutal as fuck. Like I was at work the next 2 days. Like I can't believe I did.
Oh no, I was present for the first 2 streams.
The first stream.
What's up?
You got
that's a long cat.
So funny.
It's my long boy. This is Dugers. This is Dewey. So he is our dog cat. He's like a dog. He follows me around all the time. He needs attention. He's gonna come up to the screen right now, and now he's sitting on my computer because I was supposed to feed him and I didn't yet. I'm gonna be signing off shortly, but I'm sorry, Dewey. He's getting mad at me because I was supposed to feed him 30 minutes ago. But I've become a cat guy. I never thought I would become a cat guy until I got cats. I never had cats growing up, so now I was always a dog person, but then I got this one, and he is literally just like a dog, to the point where like his breed, we think that he's like part Turkish Angora, and they are like very, very dog-like cats. He's a cat dog.
To be quite honest with you, outside of the hairless one, I didn't even think they made types of cats. I thought it was just all based on what color they were.
There's tabby.
I still am coming to grips with that.
Siamese.
Yeah. There's all different kinds. Yeah.
They have that. I thought it was just like, what color are you? Are you fluffy, not fluffy, or bald? And that was it. Like
long hair, short hair. Yeah. That's kind of generally speaking. That is. Yeah. He's a long hair. My other cat's a short hair. But yeah, generally speaking, that is kind of how they are defined. But they are there's more depth to cats than you think. There's Persians. There's all different. All different kinds.
They have the Ben Simmons one.
Yeah, they have the ones that he spends $45,000 on and then he kills them. Parody, satire.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't kill them,
off on
right?
his brother.
It was a joke because he abandoned them. Oh, Desmond Bain. Could they get Desmond Bain for Donovan Mitchell?
I don't know. I don't know.
It wouldn't work because Ja and Mitchell wouldn't work together, but
like
I don't want to say
Bain,
that's true, but possibly.
Yeah, John Mitchell together would be such a disaster.
But it also feels like something that like they might be pressured into doing.
because
Like if they get eliminated tonight, or this series, right? Like they don't make it out. It's consolidation trade time.
Right.
So
I don't know. Memphis is so like small market. I don't really think that they're thinking in the same way that like process brain people are.
I mean, honestly, if I were Memphis, I would think that they would be more likely to trade for Gobert than Mitchell in general.
Yeah. I think the best guy they could get is if he's available and they could swing Paul George, that would be fucking out of this world. Like that
Paul
would be
George
such
is
a
not going to be
sick
available.
team.
No, he's not.
Unless Kawhi's knees cooked, and then at that point, like
it's like you gotta start from scratch again.
Yeah,
which will suck because they have no picks. But
yeah, no, the Clippers are going to be really good next year.
I hope so.
I mean,
I love how like the Clippers are so hated here. Like no one else in the country cares.
Reminder, you're in Southern California.
I know.
I was like Philadelphia? I was like, I don't care
really
about the
hate,
Clippers.
They really actually hate the Clippers.
In Southern California, like actually one of my girlfriend's best friends, like her family are like adamant Clippers fans, which I love. And then like I have an in-law who his parents are all like adamant Clippers fans, which is awesome because like they are like the most objective basketball people I've ever met because they're just like, oh yeah, like your players, like they're really good. Like we've got these guys, like they're kind of cool. Like, what do you think about them? Like, we think they're okay. And it's like, you're talking about Paul George. Like, he's really good. Like, what do you mean he's okay? Like,
one of my favorite jokes that someone says is that everyone hates Paul George, but also every team thinks they're one Paul George away from winning a title. So they're like, oh, we just need like a 3-and-D guy who can handle the ball and create his own shot. And like, I'm like, oh, you're describing Paul George, who everyone hated for some reason for like 2 years.
But I've been waiting since like the Kawhi Paul George era started for the Clippers to be the dominant LA team because that would break Lakers fans' brains more than anything else. Because like Lakers fans' brains are like, oh, we live in LA, like we're this like prestigious team. And it's like, well, there's another team in LA that like is also like better run, like just
because they have the Lakers executive, don't they?
What do you mean?
Doesn't Jerry West run the Clippers?
Yes.
After the Lakers kicked him to the curb for no reason.
Yep.
He's like shadow running the Clippers after he shadow ran the Warriors.
And I think the Clippers are about to get like their own stadium. Like right now they share Staples Center or crypto.com center, whatever crypto was. But
it's going great.
It's going very well. But like they're trying to get their own center in like Long Beach, and like it's just I'm very much looking forward to the time where like the Clippers are, because like they're just a better run organization. Like everything from top to bottom there like is better. Like the Lakers
they also have like the richest owner ever who's like, I will pay $100 million in luxury tax every year. I don't care.
It's like fucking Manchester City in the Premier League when they're just like, we're gonna be good now. Like we're just gonna get everyone.
It blew my mind that they built that stadium though.
They built
like
what?
That like one? Steve Ballmer's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna build a new stadium in Inglewood. He didn't even like. I don't know why you wouldn't just go buy, like the Forum exists.
Yeah.
It's in Inglewood too. Like I don't like just buy it from James Dolan. How much could James Dolan be selling the Forum for?
Well, James Dolan doesn't do much rationally. So
true.
Wait, why does James Dolan own the Forum?
It's like part of his real estate thing that he owns. He owns the Forum, Radio City Music Hall, Madison Square Garden.
But who played at the Forum? No
The
one?
Lakers and the Clippers. I
That was
believe he bought.
What, in the 80s?
Yeah, 80s and like 80s, 90s, and part of the 2000s until they moved to the Staples Center.
No, Staples Center was around in the 90s.
I thought the first Kobe Shaq title was in the Forum still.
Oh, was the first year? So 01 was the first year of Staples Center?
I think so.
Damn. All right, I didn't realize it was that the Forum was that recent.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow. Well, that would have been 99.
Like, I mean, it's a
2000.
little decrepit and shitty now, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
He's
a
the richest man
75-year-old
alive, though,
stadium.
isn't he? Ballmer bought the Forum. Someone just commented.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
They're also building an arena in Inglewood.
Interesting.
It's probably gonna be near the new Ram Stadium. They're gonna displace a ton of people again.
Cool.
And outprice a bunch of people because
Awesome.
industry, baby. That's how it goes in the
Disgusting.
already very well and reasonably priced LA housing marketplace.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane shit.
Sure,
All right,
I sent a trade that gave the Sixers 10 plus wins.
Yeah, tell me
on
it.
Twitter. Yeah, I would love for you to just review that for me real quick.
You DM me it?
It's in the DM for this live 3.
Oh yeah, that was a psycho trade.
All right. So
I told you
little...
I got bored at work for like an hour today. Which is funny because I had a lot to do. And just went nuts on the trade machine.
All right, so this is the last thing before we sign off. I have to
dude.
go to bed.
I love this trade.
The Sixers get
Yo, you can screen share it. You can definitely screen share it.
Sure. Why not? You're such a sicko. Hold on.
This isn't the worst one I made today. Is it?
Like, this is complete insanity.
I've seen like 4 of the worst ones, but like I don't think I sent to you like the worst things I made today, which were just
Also, the Spurs just get like the entire Sixers team.
Yeah, and they're gonna like it.
All right. So the Sixers get Mike Conley, Seth Curry back, Joe Harris,
Money Joe,
Josh Richardson back, and DeJounte Murray.
5.
The Nets get Jaden Springer and Rudy Gobert. The Jazz get Ben Simmons, Zach Collins, Charles Bassey. Well, Bassey's off limits, so not even a joke. Thibault and Doug McDermott. And the Spurs get Tobias Harris, George Niang, Furkan Korkmaz, and Danny Green. Honestly, the funniest thing about this is I think the Spurs are the ones that get fucked over the most here.
Why they get their new head coach?
Sixers players.
I didn't do picks on this one, but like if you were to do picks, like all the picks would just go to the Spurs.
Yeah,
So
you're
the
also
Sixers
trading the Spurs their new head coach for the next 40 years.
So after this, the Sixers team is going to be Mike Conley, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Seth Curry, Josh Richardson, DeJounte Murray, Joe Harris, James Harden. You can't just have an entire. I know we joke about it, but you can't have Joel Embiid and an entire team of guards.
All right.
Joe Harris is our backup.
Here's my argument about it. Here's my argument. First, it would be the funniest thing in NBA history for the Sixers to get back the 2 players that basically turned into James Harden for nothing to just get them back. That'd be hilarious.
Seth Curry.
Yes, that'd be the funniest thing. The other thing is, of those players, like I think that I also truly think DeJounte Murray is optimized as a wing.
Okay.
I have been afraid to admit it before, but I am a DeJounte Murray guy.
Yeah.
But like he's not he's I think he's optimized as a wing. Like he's a bigger guard who like can't pass super well, can't score on his own super well. But, like I can't really figure out spot up shooting. Like
society, listen, we as a society have moved past the need for players who cannot shoot a basketball.
Well, like everyone that we're making up for that because we're getting Joe Harris and Seth Curry who can only shoot a basketball and do nothing else.
Look, I'm done shitting on
He
guys who
doesn't know
can't
about
shoot.
money, Joe.
Like I think that I mean you look at the very reliable NBA fanspo and it says the Sixers win 10 more games with that lineup.
Stay woke.
And I'm just saying, man. I think that's it. I think that's the one. I think that's
so that trade is legitimately psychotic. You should be in prison for that. But
that's not like that. True. I'm not kidding. That might not break the top 3 of trades I made today on the.
Yeah. The
all right,
PJ
you're gonna have to
Tucker,
submit
Terry
some for the
Rozier
next-
one is so funny.
For the
What?
next Trade Machine War Crimes, you're gonna
Which
have
one,
to go
Trill?
hard. What's that?
Sorry, Parm. What were you saying?
No, the one you sent with PJ Sixers get in return for Matisse, Bazzi, and Tobias. They get PJ Tucker, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, and Tyler Hero.
Hang on, I'm gonna find it right now and I'm gonna send it.
That one's so good. That one's absolutely gas.
All right, I have to sign off, but
All right.
it was a pleasure. Next Trade Machine
Trill,
War Crimes, send me
I
a
will
few.
send it to you. Oh, dude, you give me look, Trill. Next time you want to do Trade Machine War Crimes, like text me ahead of time. My desktop is like filled. Like I love the Trade Machine, man. Like I play
Your
2K
desktop
now,
is
right?
literally
fucking
you're on a
trade.
list because of it, and we're gonna expose the documents that have been
That's fine. I'm
classified.
okay with it.
All right, guys. I'll thank you for coming on. I appreciate you hanging. I'll talk
Good
to you
time,
guys
guys.
later. I'm going to bed.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.